Welcome to episode 8? Episode 8 of the Off the Rails podcast. I'm your blonde host now, Caleb Graham. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just here. So make sure you guys are sharing the podcast with hashtag OTR podcast. I know, actually, our guest today, you're giving away a Steak and Ale gift card, aren't you?
This month we're doing Respecs and Cambridge.
You did a Steak and Ale last something.
We've done a lot of Steak and Ales.
Yeah.
We've been doing the giveaways for about 3 years now. Ever since we started, we kind of pioneered the giveaways. Yeah. We started doing it, and then everybody else started doing it, which is amazing.
It works. It's good marketing.
What we're giving back to the community is unreal.
Right.
Especially like with what Ross Love did with the Kennedys.
The donut challenge.
Yeah. Unreal, man. That was great.
There's probably 100 people there.
There's
watching.
A lot of people, a lot of donuts eaten, a lot of cash giveaway prizes, a lot of gift card giveaway prizes.
Yeah, I think top 3 went away with 13 gift cards each.
I think
something insane.
I can't remember exactly the price he said. I'd say a number, I'd be lying, but I know that they made out pretty good.
Yeah, but we're already getting into it. But OTR podcast or OTR.pod on Instagram. That's you can find clips there. You can find the next episode's guest coming up, so you probably already know who it is. And make sure you're following us on YouTube at Caleb Graham Productions. That's where we post the full podcast. If you're watching this now, you're already there. If you're listening, you're on Spotify. Hit follow. You're on Apple. Rate it, whatever, 5 stars if you want. But thank you for listening, and I'll introduce our guest now. We got Johnny Westfall and Mr. Caleb. What's your last name again?
Carpenter.
Carpenter? Okay. Yes. Caleb Carpenter. I should ask before we started this, but a little late.
I didn't get around to it.
Tell us what you guys are up to.
Well, we specialize in a landscape design and install company. We try to change the whole aspect of the contractor experience. So say for you as the customer, you're looking at having multiple things done on your property instead of having to call this guy and then this company and this company, trying to get a hold of them. Are they going to call you back or they're going to actually show up and do the estimate? You can just give us a call. If it's something that we don't offer, like snow removal or decking or roofing or something like that, we have professional contractors that I'll send out there for you to give you the free estimate. We don't charge you anything for that. It's just something that we do extra, so that way it saves you the time, because we know how hard it is, the process of having to trust a contractor. Is the contractor going to show back up? Are they going to rip you off? I've seen a lot of that personally in the area, and a lot of customers have came to me and have told me all these things that have been happening. So I came up with the idea of trying to be the one-stop shop. We specialize in earth retention systems, so retaining walls, patios. We do tree removal. We do landscape install and design. We do excavation and drainage as well. We do a bunch of stuff, and we keep growing, and we keep doubling. And one day we kind of want to take over all of Ohio, and I have big plans of opening up a business in Miami and a bunch of different stuff that I want to do jet ski rentals in Miami.
Oh yeah. There's a business in the boat and jet ski rental. Yeah. We'll go down to, when I was in Nashville last time, we rented a boat 2 days in a row in the middle of, a pandemic. People, you'd still have 70 boats out there.
Florida, there's no pandemic.
Right. It's not
like nothing going on.
Hurricanes.
Yeah, that's apocalyptic. I'm excited because I'm going down to Florida April-ish, most of April. Yeah. First 2.5 weeks or so. So I'm excited to just get out. Hopefully the snow's gone by then, but it's been a pretty chilly winter.
It's gonna in Florida. It's great. Yeah. I just got back from Miami and it was 75 degrees.
Did you go to the Super Bowl?
No, I went to the national championship game.
Oh yeah, that's
Ohio
right.
State national.
I saw you posting stuff about that. How's that with? Was it full?
No, it was 20,000 people.
Whatever quarter capacity.
Whatever
they were.
I had a great time. Even with Alabama
fans. Kind of a bummer, but
yeah, I love people, so I was getting along great with all the Alabama people. They were cool to us. We were cool to them. Mm-hmm. There's a couple people that were a little, but what are you gonna do? We had no chance.
They're intoxicated.
We had no. Right. They were intoxicated. That's exactly what it was. They were intoxicated. They had a little bit too much to drink. So you just say, "All right, buddy, you gotta." It's over. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. So when did you get started with what? It's going to be a long question already. You can, but how'd you get started? Walk us through that process a little bit. What made you start?
2017. I was working at Pet Enterprises, great company, by the way, great people. Very thankful for that experience in my life. I was able to better myself there. You definitely worked for your paycheck, though, Caleb. Yeah. I worked there with Caleb. We worked together, and one day I had a lot of people always tell me that you're worth more than what you're doing. You know, you should be way more. And I've always had dreams of owning my own company ever since the first time I went to Miami when I was 17 years old. And I was like, I want to be able to live this life. This is because my sister lived it. So I want to live it too. But one day I just woke up and was like, this week's the week.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something. So I started looking into it. I started YouTubing. What do I want to do? Started looking around, kind of asking around, seeing where we have, where the fault is in the contractor service. And I found that, you know, we needed some more landscapers in there. There's so much work to go around. There's so many landscape companies within a 30-mile radius, and everybody's slam busy. And I've seen some of the problems that we've had with other contractors, and I kind of wanted to change the ballgame and come up with some kind of great idea and great plan. And then we started implementing our services around that motto that we go by, pretty much that the logo of our company. And then I started branding, and I worked very, very hard. You know how it is, 16, 18-hour days, you know, day in and day out.
Mine's not out. Mine's probably a desk job, but it's
the same.
It's mental.
Yes.
I mean, it's a mental thing too.
It's the same difference.
Yeah.
You know? It doesn't matter what it is.
Something you care about and you want to grow.
Yeah.
Right. No, and I get that. I mean, that's basically pretty similar. I was in college, and I think I've told this story twice, but short of it, I was in college and I was doing this stuff already, and I'm like, well, I was like, I know I want to run my own business. Why would I get a degree to tell myself what to do? Yeah, and
You don't need a business degree.
and so it's just
that's a mistake I made. Got a
well,
business degree.
I went for a few years, and it was.
It's great if you're trying to be like a CEO or a COO of like a big time
something
corporation.
real big.
You need to have that kind of knowledge with marketing, advertising, shit like that.
I think college is great for the experience. You should experience college.
Absolutely.
Live the college life.
It's a culture.
Indulge in the college life and enjoy it, and join a frat. Do everything that the frat has to offer. But when it comes to the actual education side of it, don't be so gung-ho and serious about it as what it is. Unless you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. That's
passing is passing. That's
right. It doesn't take a whole lot of education anymore to do a lot of the things that we do. I think
a lot of it comes from the internet. Just you can learn anything instantly almost. I like my doctors to know what they're doing, but outside of that, you can figure it out.
And with our generation, it seems our parents' generation, a lot of them didn't go to college. So they didn't want us to break their backs doing labor and stuff that they had to make a buck. Therefore, they pushed a lot of our generation to go to college. And I think because of that, once we all got out of college, there's so much competition for these degree jobs now that the trade industry is opened back up, and that's where the money's to be made.
Well, and a lot of people don't want to work, trades.
A lot of people, that's why the money's there, is because it's things that other people aren't willing to do themselves or don't have the know-how to do.
Mm-hmm. And that's something I've said a few times is if I was back in high school, them trying to sell trades to me or going to trade school would have been great, but it was always this like second option where
I never even took an ACT.
Really?
I knew I wasn't going. I took the practice ACT, scored like a 24 on it, but I knew I wasn't going to college. It's not what I wanted to do.
Took it 3 times.
Yeah, I took it a few times.
Yeah, no SAT, just the ACT.
Yeah,
but I pretty much got a good score on the first time. Good enough to get to where I needed to go.
Yeah, and that's, I don't know. I feel like anymore. I feel like small business is like starting to become a thing again. It's always been around. Obviously, we've got these giant. We'll get into it, but we've got these giant corporations, right? And and it's crazy. Just people are like, we don't want the rich to get richer and all this, but we're gonna let Walmart stay open. You guys stay closed. Yeah, it blows my mind. I don't know. But I think what we're gonna see out of this is once. Florida's open, but once everything's full open again, I think we're going to see a lot of people realizing, what have I been doing? I can do this. I can make my own. I think we're seeing a lot of creativity just from sitting at home, bored.
Yep.
And I think it's going to start to manifest into something at some point. That'd be cool.
So. We've got this town alone has so many great people.
Yeah.
We have so many people that truly care about individuality and people's own opinions. And, if that's what you want to do and you want to sit at home and you don't want to go out and enjoy the world, I have nothing against you,
Right.
Enjoy your life. Do what makes you happy. I'm going to do what makes me happy. You live your life. I'm going to live mine. If we don't cross paths, cool. If we do, great. We can have a conversation. Just live your life.
Yeah, right. And that's been the toughest part, I think, especially as the generation under, our parents' generation, is our risk of dying from, COVID is so slim.
Yeah.
What, can you not stay at home? It's a weird, difficult situation.
I can see both sides.
I understand. Are you, obviously you're probably pro private business having the choice.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm all about that. Like if they want me to wear a mask, great. I'm going to do it. I'm going to respect it. Like you're a business. You can tell me what to do.
Absolutely. Yeah. You have just as much a right to deny me service as I do to not have to wear one. Yeah.
And that's been, I think what's so interesting about is I don't know if the government should mandate it necessarily, but if a business wants to, great, whatever. But as a smaller company, it's very, I don't know, or not even a smaller company, as a person, it's just very strange to have to do something. I don't know. It's a very fine line.
It's something nobody's that's alive today
right.
ever had to deal with. But
yeah.
Like they said, the most comparable they've found is the Spanish flu of 1920. And around then, I'm sure it was the same deal, except that our medical technology and our just technology in general is so much more advanced, exponentially more advanced.
Yeah. And I like looking back at 2019 and like, I think 16, even 2012 up to 2019-ish, a little after 2012, but we were living so good, and we didn't
soft.
Yeah, we got very soft, and I think we needed stuff to fight about as like a country and as people, and it turned into now we're all mad because there's a pandemic. No one can get along. We can't figure out if the left's right, if the right's right. They can't even talk to each other, like it's insane. And
it's like 95% of people meet just somewhere in the middle.
Right.
But unfortunately,
you only see the
10% on the far left and the far right are the ones that you hear the most.
Well,
right.
Those people are very closed-minded people, and they stick, true to their own beliefs, which is fine. You're welcome to your own opinion. I fall on that very strong line of being medium, neutral. I see both sides of the story, and I don't believe in politics at all.
Yeah,
I believe politics is dumb, and the fact that people argue and fight over it is just ridiculous. Every president has good flaws, has good things about him, and then has flaws about him too. There's pros and cons to everybody. If they benefit you, great. Go make as much money and do whatever you can what that benefits you for those 4 or 8 years,
right?
And then prepare yourself for the time after.
And that's that's the weirdest part about it is, we every 4 to 8 years. Yeah, we didn't like that. Let's do this, and it just back and forth. Like there's nothing made.
Yeah.
But the fact that we see people living their lives in increments of 4 to 8 years,
it's crazy.
If it's a Republican president or a Democrat president,
it affects their mood, right?
It's
like
unreal.
They're mad or they're happy. Like the guy that is in charge, or the girl someday, the guy that is in charge of the country doesn't know who you are. Does not care about you personally, he might, but unless you get, there's going to be a few people, but you're never going to be affected by him personally, almost ever. Now there's going to be executive orders and stuff that'll trickle down, or like Congress might come into something, but it's like, I don't know.
I think we just need to find a better way. It's by far from recorded history, it's the best that we've found democracy that you can find. But it does have its flaws. But it's one of them things where I lost my train of thought.
I think there should be no two-party system. I think if we're going to do politics, it would be impossible to do it this way, but you shouldn't know the person's name, their affiliation, there should be some stat sheet that says, here's my policies, here's my, and, just maybe like
being honest too.
Right.
And you got to rely on people being honest.
That's true.
Just when there's 330 million people, you're going to piss off half, regardless of who it is. You're gonna piss off half, and like it's a thankless job.
Yeah.
We've been doing it for 250 years now. That's the way they've been doing it. It's not going to change. I don't see any time in the foreseeable future. I am very much pro women though. I think it would be great if we had a woman president. I love the fact that we're able to see women now feel empowered, that they're able to do these things that they've been stopped from so many years. I think it's great that we have that. We're able to see, like how you said at the end there, you said that, or a woman said, it could very well be a woman, which is great. I think that's awesome.
No, I think we're progressing, but it's again back to, everyone looks at it as these two parties. This side's ahead, this side's behind, next thing you know. But I think if you get rid of the party system, which is, it's very impossible. It could happen.
It'll always, I feel like it'll always be right.
There'll always be another party come in. So like Lincoln, for example, they had a 4-party runoff. That's the only reason Lincoln won. And look how much progress was made, even without Democrat, Republican. I think they had the Patriot Party that's the new one they're making or whatever.
Yeah, but I'm not even sure what
there's few. Are they really doing something? Are they really doing that?
Too.
Yeah.
Patriot Party?
I don't know how popular it'll be, but I heard that
Donald Trump founded one.
Is that what they?
That's what they're saying.
When you call things something like that, it kind of I don't know. You're playing me a little bit. Patriot Act was patriotic.
No,
but that's very unpatriotic. What that is. What that does.
Yeah, and even I've heard the point made too that even a third party that is and obviously some people will enjoy that party if there's enough to make it. But if you're against it, sometimes it's still not a bad thing just to have a difference. And then it gets complicated. Does your side lose because of the third party? Do they win and you're happy? And that's why the party thing just is so.
It would work if politicians were given a platform in which they were able to discuss in long form.
Joe Rogan.
Like when Joe Rogan did with Bernie. God, I'm not very much in favor of his policies, but when you watch him on a video and you listen to him and he gets to actually expand over an hour, 2 hours, not in 2-minute segments, and then having to worry about fighting Donald Trump and fighting Biden and talking over each other, and there's a certain
and I think
ethics to it that you find out what he's really about because you get to hear him actually explain his thinking rather than just give a quick assumption, quick summary.
And I think that's what almost all the problems get reduced to as far as politics is everything is as quick as I can feed me. I'm not going to read the article. I'm reading the headline. Tweet. Yeah. It's not
like Cam Radio 12, the campaign. Support our troops. I said the last thing.
And that's why I wanted to start this was, there's talk of the town, and they can come on talk for X amount of minutes. It can be longer. Yeah, I understand that. But there's no, there's nothing set. You can talk about whatever you want. You can come on, you can explain your thoughts. You don't. Whereas I feel like a lot of the stuff around here that's community based is less personable, and it's more about the brand. So with this, I feel like people are getting to know you guys and your person, and then they might like your brand because of that.
Talk of the Town is great. I did it 3 years ago, 3.5, 4 years ago when I first started my business.
Yeah.
I just think that you're going to sell so much better with it because you have a much better idea on how to brand your company and how to sell things, and you're going to be able to fly with it. You know where to take this to and where to go with it. So you're going to be able to really get your brand out there pretty high.
Yeah, and I know I know they have their audience, and our goal was obviously we're taking we don't care who you are listening, but we're geared more towards that under 30, especially with the podcast, long form.
It's a new age.
The gentleman that does it doesn't own the company,
right?
And you can say whatever you want, and anybody can say whatever they want. Caleb is my right hand man, one of my right hand man, but you don't care. You don't have the same care if you don't own it. You'll never have that same care, regardless of what it is. If you don't own it, there's going to be 5, 6, 7 o'clock comes around, you're going to be like, well, I don't have to worry about this anymore for the rest of the day. But as a business owner, you might be up till 10, 11 o'clock working on something and go to sleep with your mind racing. Mind racing,
all the time.
Wake up, mind racing.
Yeah.
And then the anxiety that comes with it, and then everything else that comes with it that you just kind of learn how to deal with over time.
Yeah, no, I get that. So we do, like, with the live stream stuff, that was new-ish, that was kind of forced through the pandemic. But, there'll be some nights, probably once every 1 to 2 weeks, where I don't sleep because I'm just sitting there. I'm like, oh, we should do this. You're just always like, let's add this to the next thing, or oh, we should start this. And it's always like,
can't help when you get these ideas.
Yeah, once you start it, you're just like
comedy
there,
writer.
like,
sometimes it just comes to you, and you got to find a pen and paper right now before it goes.
Yeah.
That's how great minds work, though. That's how evolving works.
Something always turning.
Evolve. That's how you grow. There's a lot of people that get comfortable and complacent with where they're at. My dreams are way bigger. I'm going to own multiple businesses in multiple different states. And there's no roof. I have no roof. There's no cap.
That's the only way I feel like you can really do it, but it's not. There's people that are like, okay, we're going to do this. Once I'm making this, I'm done. I'll be happy. I'm making X a year. I'm adding, a podcast. I'm adding everything, anything that I can add and still sustain what I'm already doing. Why not? Just grow, just make it big. And I think I'm going to take this whole setup to the Golf with me and do like 3 of them on like the beach.
Yeah, I'll come down. I'll fly out. I told Adam I'd fly down. I told Adam I'd come down in April.
Yeah, I'll be down. I'll be there the 30th of March through the 16th.
I'll fly down. You just.
I'll let you know when. We'll do a beach cast.
That sounds good. I think it's about
the waves behind.
I can get. It's about an hour and 50-minute flight. I think.
It's like $40 both ways right now. It's like real cheap.
It's cheap. I'm strictly American Airlines, though, so I gotta fly through them. It's just what my sister lives in Costa Rica, but they have a condo in Miami where they keep a couple vehicles and whatnot, and that they go to. She flies through American, so I've always flown through American, and the frequent flyer miles that you rack up is just killer. Yeah, great people, great organization too.
Really? Yeah.
I think out of all the airlines that are left, I haven't looked at the stocks recently of what.
I know people are buying it.
American Airlines is going up.
You get any Doge?
Yeah, yeah, I got a little bit of Doge.
Yeah,
I made a good percentage profit off Doge and sold it, and it was anybody that tells you to hold is like GameStop, and that if you get on
it's mainstream
Reddit forum right now, those guys are still telling you to hold. It's like, dude.
Oh, well, that's because they're wanting to adjust their losses.
Yeah.
No, it's so the Wall Street Bets subreddit. I'd been on there since like 2015, but I haven't been on it a lot lately, so I didn't even know what was going on when like they were talking about GameStop, and I was like,
once you hear about it, it's kind of too late.
Yeah, and that was even back then. I mean, it wouldn't even it would be on just the subreddit. There was under 1 million people on it, but it would be too late. I mean, and they couldn't pump.
You could get in a day trade and make a little bit off of it, but to get like the big money that you want, you need to buy in before it actually happens.
Oh yeah.
Like I read about some kid whose parents or something gave him like 3 shares of GameStop or something just for graduation or something, and how he made out like a vandal.
Right. I think, so the Doge stuff, I bought some. I didn't have a lot, but I bought like some, and this was like as soon as the hype train started. And so it was already up a little.
Right.
But we were all sitting here one night, and I bought like, I don't know, like 29,000 of them, whatever that equals in dollars at that point. And then I think we made like 50% in a night. Yeah. And I was like, great. Like, that's all I need. And
close to 1,000.
Right. And we sold. I sold that night. I was like, guys, because they were all new.
Depends on what you want to do with it.
Right.
Dogecoin will hit $1 one day. There's no doubt about that. It might not be until 2030, but one day it will hit $1. It could be the end of this year. It could be 2030. It could be tomorrow. You don't know.
So I think that's the weird.
It might not.
It's so high volatility in cryptocurrency is that you don't know where it's going to go, but do you believe in it?
Right.
Do you believe in it like how Elon Musk believes in it? Do you follow the words that these guys are saying? You have to. If you don't believe in it, you're going to pull out. And if you check it every 15 minutes, you're going to sell it.
That's where I ran into. You get to checking it too much and you get antsy. When you start seeing a little bit of red, you start getting antsy.
But the stock market is how I plan on funding my business in Miami.
Is it?
That's it. Yeah.
What do you think? Oh yeah, the jet ski stuff.
Yeah, I'll start with that.
What got you that idea? Were you just down there? And
my nickname's always been Jet Ski Johnny. I've always loved jet skis. You know, that's like one of my big things to do. One of my big hobbies. And I was introduced at a young age to that Miami life, to that South Beach life, by my sister who lived there. And I always told myself, I said, one day I'm gonna do something down here. I don't know what it is. I'll figure it out one day. And now it's finally starting to all come around. And now you have all these opportunities in the stock market. Now's the biggest time.
It's easier to trade too.
It's so easy to trade. And then you've got like all these companies that are getting short squeezed, all these medical companies.
It's crazy.
You know, the pharmaceutical companies. Marijuana is going to be huge. You know, right now is the best time because it's going to get federally legal. They're going to federally legalize marijuana regardless of what happens, because they're going to realize that that's going to be one thing that they can tax the hell out of and get this country out of debt.
Well, it's not going to go away. It's only gained more and more momentum each year. So they're not just going to do away with it. It's not going anywhere. So it's only going to become more popular.
Yeah. And I think, you know, like with even like Germany and it's one of those European countries that has like drug, you can go in and take anything you want, like
in Amsterdam.
Safely.
Amsterdam.
Yeah, Amsterdam is where it was. But it was just, you know, they said basically if you're going to take them, you know, you're either going to do it illegally or you're not.
Yeah.
You're going to do it regardless.
Right. So why would we not make it safe for you to do it?
That's
I used
what
to
Oregon's
bash.
idea was. Yeah.
Oregon or Washington or whatever
Oregon
state was
decriminalized everything. Well, you know, if you do it and it's regulated by the government, and you know, it's still not a great thing to shoot up heroin.
Well, no.
But doing government regulation like that, at least it stops the other stuff, the Hep C, from reusing needles, and so, you know, there are some positives. It's just do the pros outweigh the cons.
Yeah, and I think it's.
We really won't know until we get some hard evidence.
That's like they tried prohibition.
Give it a year and look at some statistics. It's all you can really do.
I bashed it for at first and made fun of it for a little while. You know, I might have been a little bit too judgmental on it, but then I got to thinking about it. You know, I do a lot of driving. I'm always driving, constantly thinking.
I thought you were going to say drugs.
I do a lot of driving between estimates and work and whatnot, so I have a lot of time to myself to think. And thought about it. I was like, you know, if you get, so, you know, it's pretty much decriminalized, but if you get in trouble for it and you get a ticket, they give you a chance, instead of paying that fine, of going to rehab. They'll send you to rehab, which might end up turning out to be, you know, a really incredible thing, as long as, because there's some people, you know, it's not a very high percentage, but I've seen a lot of people in our area, a lot of my friends, you know, I've lost a lot of friends from drug overdoses and whatnot, and now I'm seeing other friends that are able to pull around and they're staying healthy and they're staying sober. I'll see them at the gym, or I'll see them at, you know, Respects or somewhere like that, and they look happy and healthy, and they have kids too, so, you know, everybody understands, so it's great to see them doing so good. I know a lot of people look up to me. Everybody comes to me. A lot of people come to me for advice, and you know, I just tell them. But really, my overall goal in life is to be a good father, be a great leader. I've always been a leader, never a follower. I always started my own trends and everything else. But to be, you know, a great father, to be a great husband, to be a great leader, and overall, I think that the point of life is to evolve and you know, have children and raise those children the right way. And there's so many things, like drugs and, you know, gambling, there's so much stuff nowadays that are just crunching people, you know, even it's unreal to see.
And on the drug side of that, I've seen it to, you know, they said let's just say that.
But who is they?
Some guy was talking about it, and he explained it in a way that like it made more sense. But he was like, you know, if you go to the doctor, they're going to give you a prescription drug.
Exactly.
And they know how much for you to take.
Yep.
Now, they said, imagine, you know, your doctor says, here's your morphine or whatever, your Oxycontin, and you say, how much do I take? And he says, I don't know, just do it. And it's essentially what all of the illegal drugs are right now. Is you know, there's a lot of bad ones, but if you take a little bit in a small portion, you know, it's not going to, there's overdose levels. And if we had people that, you know, we're going to do them anyway, why, you know, at least help them do it safely, and then you can still put them in these programs.
Right.
You know, you can wean them off of it. You know, you can slowly get them out of the drugs and the alcohol and all that stuff.
Definitely get rid of the fentanyl issue and people overdosing on fentanyl.
Well, and that kills your black markets. I mean, you know, if it's federally regulated and taxed, and you know, that gets rid of every laced substance. You know, you're never going to have a bad thing that can just kill you just for no, you know, because you didn't know what you were getting.
Right.
But at the same time, you know, it is a fine line. I mean, you don't want to just be like, yeah, everyone just take some drugs. You know, you still want it to be seen as like you know, like some of these probably you want to stay away from these. But I feel like if you're going to get people to a certain point, there's got to be a middle ground. And that's with everything. I mean, that's what I think's scary about right now with everything. You know, the drug issue, it's one side or the other. There's no, let's meet in the middle. And it's tough to meet in the middle there. But even politically, I mean, people are just so polarized where it's like,
well, and
you're wrong and I'm right, and we can't meet in the middle. And
a lot of people's egos.
Yeah,
that's religion too. You know, a lot of people are religion driven, and you know, for good and bad, both sides.
Yeah. Are they happy at the end of the night? Like I always say, are you happy at the end of the night? You know, it's all right. Go believe in God. Believe in, you know, whatever you believe in.
Go believe in the tree in the backyard if you want. You know,
that makes you happy, and that gives
you comfort.
Gives them comfort and something to look forward to every day.
Yeah, that
is clean and not a harmful substance. Then that's, you know, great. And I know a lot of people that are their own higher power. You know, that they themselves is what drives them to be a better person and whatnot. And that's kind of me, you know. Right. I kind of, like, I grew up in, you know, in the church, and I was in choir and everything else. And then I got older, and then, you know, which I still, you know, you want to believe. Yeah. You want to believe, you know, regardless, because it's what you grew up on. So you want to believe. But I also know that I myself am the only one who controls my own actions. So therefore, I myself am my highest power. You know,
it's about being decent to one another. It's all
right, and that's
regardless.
That would be, I guess, my stance on that would be, you know, I believe, but I've, you know, especially you said you grew up in the church, so you would understand this a little bit. I don't know if you did.
I went to church when I was younger, but hadn't been back since then.
but yeah, so you know, as someone who believes, you want to try to talk people. You don't want to talk them into it. That's the part I don't like. Is
you're not trying to change anything.
Yeah, and I feel like not all of them, especially not anymore, but you know, a couple generations ago, I mean, you would be beat, in trouble, and that's not going to help anybody. You know, at the end of the day, you can give them advice. You can say, hey, like, I really think this would be good for you, but you're your own person. You know, like, you know.
I had an awakening. I started meditating. I cut alcohol out of my life about 6 months ago. Okay. I don't drink at all. I started meditating a lot. Alcohol's always been it'd be a holdback. It keeps me from doing things that I want to do. And there's so much that I want to do that I can't successfully do them and drink alcohol. So I started meditating, you know, and I had this awakening, you know, in my first couple sessions of meditating, and it was so crazy. It was like a lamb with 7 eyes. And you look into it, there's meaning before, and I don't remember anything about the Bible or anything from when I was a kid. I have a hard time remembering things as it is.
Right.
And then, you know, it came around, and then it was a chair it was somebody sitting in a chair with a king crown and coming around, and then I realized that looking at it, that was me that I was looking at. That's when I realized that I am the only one responsible for any of my actions, and for people to blame something that they do on an occurrence that could have been affected from a different outcome of their choice is just ridiculous. To say, like, oh, that's the people that say, oh, that's God's fault, or, you know, that's Tom Brady's fault, or, you know, anybody. People do it all the time. It's like,
Tom Brady is God.
It's like, what are you doing?
He's still kicking.
It is a crazy.
Yeah, so crazy. I guess a stance similar to that, from my perspective, I guess would be, so someone was explaining to me one time. They were like, everyone always blames the devil for, oh, the devil made me do that. Or there's actually a really, is it Lucifer? There's a show about it. And, it's almost like a third perspective of what the show's actually about, because it's about, and I haven't watched it unfortunately, but
it's good.
Yeah, but
good
is it the devil like comes to Earth as like a person, and he's like, I'm the devil,
he's
and
some good looking, strong, blind guy. He like owns a nightclub and he solves crimes or something.
But no, and
nice chicken.
And so he'd be like, yeah, I'm the devil or whatever, and I'm pretty sure people were like, they'd be scared, and he's like, what are you scared of? He's like,
You've only heard one side of the story.
Yeah, and it's not that he's the good guy, but I feel like everyone wants to blame their faults.
Comes down to willpower.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's weird because they explained it in a way. It was like the devil used to be an angel. I mean, he was a fallen angel. He was sent down from heaven, and was he just sent there to look? Was he sent there to look over the bad people, or is he in charge of the bad?
He was there, I believe. I don't know anything a whole lot about religion.
I could say something, but I'd be lying. I really have no idea.
I think the whole
I knew once.
He's there to provide a balance, I think, to give people the choice, the temptations, in order to test their belief in God.
Yeah, and I guess that is kind of playing. He tempts Jesus.
Come up with the term devil, and playing devil's advocate.
Right.
You're there to kind of test them.
Yeah.
I played a lot of Ouija board out at Eden Valley when I was a kid, so I try not to get into the devil too much.
He's like, oh,
that's
no, yeah, it's I don't know. There's just so much about everything. I just try to keep. I don't like pushing anything on anyone or all that. And that's I think a big issue is pushing politics. It always comes back. Everything's politics if you make it politics, right? And so
ties in.
You can push it here, you can push it there. It's like just they want to do this.
Yeah.
A lot of people have an agenda.
You can give them.
Well, and a lot of the reason you're hearing about so much more of this and people trying to change is the advancement of social media. 20 years ago, you didn't feel so much pressure from people like say the far left to change.
Instant.
More progressive because you didn't hear their voices. Now you get on Twitter, you listen 100 million people from across the world, and everybody's opinion matters all of a sudden.
And that's it's crazy that people you can form your opinion about someone without ever meeting them. That you could do that before, but
no
it's like
context to what their background's like, what they had to endure.
You could know them just from one tweet and be like, it's like, no, that's not how it works. Like, get to know the person, get to talk to them, all that stuff.
140 characters that express exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
A lot of times you can't.
No.
Well, not everybody was made to like everybody.
Yeah.
Either everybody has their own.
It's impossible. You can't.
Everybody has their own opinions and they have their own interests, and that is a solid way to realize who you want around you in your life and who you don't. And COVID was great for that. You're able to see, oh, this guy showed his true colors. I don't want to be that guy's friend. Delete on Facebook. It was a good way to wean out. Because you don't want a lot of people have that negativity in their life, and that's a block and that's a wall, and they can't get past a certain goal that they have to achieve in their life because they've got this guy that they're arguing with on Facebook or something like that. So COVID was huge for me to be able to eliminate people out of my life.
Yeah.
And I know it's sad to say, but it ain't nothing for me to do that to somebody.
Right.
You could have been my best friend for 15 years.
And that's, just people say it a lot, but it's hard to do. I mean, you hear people are like, well, let's just get, just if they're your friend and they're bad to you, drop them. It's like, that's tough for some people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if it's what needs to happen, there's no point in being upset about it.
Exactly.
You just got to move on. You got to get to that next thing. If you're chasing goals, you can't let stuff sit in your way. I mean, and that's, I think, where it gets easier is, you where you want to go with something, or how you want to be treated by someone. And then that makes it a little easier.
There's a lot of people that aren't very goal driven too, and that's fine. They're content living, working at Burger King and working a 9 to 5 there, and going home and playing Xbox at night. Awesome, man. Live, do what makes you happy. That's cool. Don't let anybody ever talk shit to you and bring you down about it. That's your life, and you're happy, and that's what makes you happy, and you do it. And that guy might have some kids, and he's being able to help. That's a job that's helping take care of his kids, and it gives him time to be home with his family more.
Some people like the I don't know if it's the safety of it.
Yeah.
It could be. It's just a safer alternative to. But I don't like that term either because that makes it sound like I'm like dogging it. But it's like some people like the chase.
Yeah.
Some people like where they're at.
People get comfortable. You get complacent with where you're at, and then once all of a sudden you realize that you're in too deep almost to start something new. You waited too late in life to start it, and you're stuck.
And see, I've heard people saying that too.
A lot of it's like coming in today,
like 65 or something.
I was nervous coming in today. Doing first time doing anything with camera, but. If I don't, then how do I know? Hell, I'm gonna have a hidden talent for it.
Know. Right. I better get used to it now because I'm gonna be doing a lot of these because I don't know.
It's fun.
Be so famous one day. For real. I have these high expectations.
It's a life experience, and
it is.
Might go away from it and say, I never want to do that again. But you won't know until you won't know how it is until you dip your toes in.
There's so much I want to do in life. I want to at least try everything. Right? Caleb's the same way.
It's a chase.
Caleb's the same way. At least try something once.
Yeah. I mean, I went and got my. I went and did the licensure for doing real estate. Like I want to sell some houses.
Did you?
Yeah. So all I got to do is get my license, and then I did the classes and everything.
Was that like 40-hour online class?
It was 4 classes, 1 semester online. Easy. I mean, it was.
How many hours do you have in it?
So I think it was 3 credit hours each class. So it would have been.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, full semester
12.
12.
Yeah. And then that's for Ohio. If you want to go national, you got to go and do more. But
I've always wanted to do that too. And I've got a buddy, a good friend of mine that's getting into that now. I have actually a couple really good friends that get into rental houses and whatnot. And I have some friends that flip houses and different stuff. And that's definitely something that I'll get into one day. My big thing that I've been learning in the past year is how to manage my time and what to spend the majority of my time in. Whether it's doing estimates for a retaining wall or put this much effort into this or this much effort into this, and then training people how to do these things so that way it's not just me doing them all the time, so that way I can focus on, might have to fly to Miami for a week and take care of the jet ski rental company, or might have to go to a rental, just the different stuff that I want to. Yeah. I want to have millions of dollars in my bank account by the time I'm 30. I've got 3 years to do it, so I've got so many high goals to try to get there to do it.
Come on, people, we need estimates.
No, I get that. I mean, it's definitely. Oh, I'm missing the kicker. There we go. It's definitely. Yeah, I mean, I'm always chasing too. You're always looking for that next thing. Obviously, like you have a bit while you're sustaining your other stuff. But I think that comes back to. Like why I wanted to do this podcast was, I was becoming. My name's on the company, but your name's on there. But it was starting to be a thing and not a person.
People look at you, and that kind of, people don't realize that. And I thought about that a lot lately. I don't want to be known as my company. Yeah. I'm not my company. My company would be nothing without guys like Caleb. We would be nothing. Right. That's that, and that's all that. I can go and design a retaining wall and mock up the draft for the retaining wall and submit the estimate, but I'm not going to go build that retaining wall by myself. And if I'm out there building the retaining wall, I'm not out doing estimates and mock-ups and drafts and whatnot. So you don't grow as a company if you don't find these guys that help transition your company into being better. And that's what a lot of companies, you see, that they'll settle for less, and they'll settle for somebody who just doesn't really care at all, and that's just, you can't grow that way.
No. Yeah, you got to have people that are invested, they're definitely willing to do the work. But yeah, I guess for my brand, I'm the same, the KGP sports and highlights and stuff, and even most of the video stuff would be wrapped under one wing. But like the podcast, I want that to be its own thing eventually. I don't want it to be represented. I want people to be able to, just like the Joe Rogan experience, people don't think of like, he doesn't, I don't know, he has other stuff, but
Joe Rogan owns,
but it's his, like, it is the podcast. It's not, it's this guy that does
of a stand-up.
Yeah. And so I want it to be almost to where this could be more than just a Guernsey County thing. It's kind of nice being a Guernsey County thing because we get to connect with the business people, and even more than that, we bring singers in and people who have interesting jobs and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
But at the same time, if at some point it becomes, go interview some guys in Florida or go interview some guys in, I guess they'd come to me. But if it gets to that point where people are wanting to come in from areas, great.
You're like Kevin Martin out of Zanesville or something.
Yeah,
you're from Cambridge.
And even on the sports side, like what's his name, Chirco, he's a coach for the Buccaneers. They just won the Super Bowl. I thought about it. So his brother coaches the Malvern Hornets. I mean, I probably could have, but at the same time, like I already had like a whole month plan. But down the line, if that's the kind of stuff we're doing, bringing people in from different sports, different aspects of the, if it is a Super Bowl winning coach, great. But but I want that at that point to not be KGP. I want that to be the OTR podcast or whatever it ends up being.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been watching usually I don't watch my own stuff, but I have been watching these back and forth, and the set looks okay. It's red and then it's pink on you guys, and it looks good, I think. And I think it's just, at this point, it's just content, consistency, getting clips out here, getting stuff out there. And that's with anything.
Branding. That's really what it's all about. And you do a great job branding. So you're not going to have any problem with that ever. You do a great job with, marketing and media on your social media platforms. So you won't have a problem with that. Now is going to be, the audience. And then the biggest thing, the big thing that I've always done that my business has grown tremendously from is boosting on Facebook, boosting ads marketing. Yeah, it's expensive and it gets a little stupid sometimes, but it's really...
Oh, no, I've seen...
Keeping up with it and then inviting people to like your page, and then people come around. And you have some people, everybody's opinionated. Somebody might not. There's a lot of people that don't like us. Yeah. There's a lot of people that love us. It just depends on... You cross somebody in the past and, they get it wrong. They rub you the wrong way or you rub them the wrong way, and then they're dead to you, after that, which is, it's fine. But it's getting that audience seen, visible, and pushing those likes for your Facebook page and pushing them to invite their friends. And that's when I came up with the idea back in 2017 of doing the monthly. Well, back then it wasn't monthly because I didn't have the money to do that like what I do now. But it was, once every other month or so there were $25, $50 gift cards. And then I started seeing other companies do it, a couple months, probably about 6 months after we did it consistently. And other companies started doing it, which is great. And then I was like, damn it, now I got to start popping up more, and now I got to up my game because now they're barking back at me. So now which is great because the stuff that the people, business owners and employees of other companies that do for the community is awesome to see. I never thought I'd ever be anywhere with this company in this area 3 years ago. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think, and it might just be that, I'm growing up a little bit, but, high school, I guess middle school, I probably wouldn't have paid attention as much, but high school, even college a little bit, I was around. It just didn't seem like there was much going on. It was here, but it was a lot of just business to business. Your consumers come to your store, they buy your stuff. But now, even you look at like Byesville now. There's like 5 new storefronts just like this year.
I love it.
And it looks great.
Jay Jackson is a great, incredible man, and he was a role model to me at a young age. So I always looked up to Jay Jackson, and I think what he's done for that community is incredible.
Oh yeah, no, he's done a real good job, and I like seeing. I think they got like 2 or 3 hair studios / barber shops now. Cool. They just put in. I think Monarch Mercantile. I think that's been around a little bit, but it's fairly new. What else? The Batter's Up isn't even on top of the CrossFit that's brand new. There's just so much stuff popping up there.
They're doing great.
And I probably would have been there had it not been for internet. I needed really good internet, so I had to be in Cambridge. Right. They just didn't. It's coming. I'm sure it's coming now that all this stuff's getting there. But there's
the great thing about you and mine and your business is that we don't have to be select to any city. I could go. We could do a job in Columbus. We do jobs in Columbus.
No, I do weddings all over the place.
Yeah, you're not select. They're not coming to you because they're not buying the product from your location.
Right.
So regardless of what your location is,
it's a lot less brick and mortar.
You can reach a huge area.
Right.
And for you, especially with the podcast, you can reach it worldwide.
You can go anywhere with it. And that's what I like about this format too. Another thing that I'll just keep naming things I like about it is now that you have been on, or now that Adam has come on, or Eli, or whoever's been on and whoever's coming on later, now your people want to watch this. You know, it's not like I have to go find all my own people and start my own thing.
That's
where
the best form of advertising is word of mouth.
Yeah,
it's
literally. And
free.
especially being a local thing.
Yeah.
You know, now people that follow your pages are going to be like, oh, what is that about? I want to listen to you guys.
Right.
They might stay for this. You know, they might see the next one and be like, oh, sweet. You know,
And one video shared on
But when
Facebook.
you do it, by the time you work up a super badass video for our company and other things that you're going to do for us, other people are going to be like, who did that?
Right.
And they're gonna ask me who did that, because I'm friends with we don't really have competitors, because there's so much work to go around. I get along with everybody in our industry, and they'll come to me and ask me and say, hey, who did that? And I'll say, oh, Caleb Graham, you know, he did a great job. You can go to ABC if you want to, but I'd go to Caleb Graham. You know, just
no, I don't know. I didn't mind AVC, and then they started kind of screwing me over on stuff. I mean, I don't hate anyone, so
Right.
like I don't care what they're doing, but we did, we did graduations last year, right? So like we did live. Well, we pre-recorded Meadowbrook, Trail, Shenandoah, and Caldwell graduations because they had to do one kid at a time.
Oh, yeah.
Threw them all into a video, and I was like, hey, we're gonna air these, you know, whatever, a couple weeks after we film it. It's like a 40-minute graduation. Every kid walks. You get your speeches, and everything was nice. I was like, hey, and the radio reached out, and they were like, hey, you know, we're interested in, you know, just airing these, you know, the graduations, like to the community. And in my head, I'm like, you know, there's COVID. Not at this point, I didn't have 5,000 followers. I probably had like 2,000, you know, and even just this year, I'm up to like 5.7 thousand just following our Facebook page. But before then, I was like, it'd be nice for more people to see the video, you know, and especially right now, like grandma and grandpa might not be following me because we're a younger thing. So if ABC's putting it, well, they went out. I just gave them the video for free. You know, I said, here it is, Dropbox it, take it. They went and got like 10 sponsors per graduation.
Yeah.
I was like, you guys probably made more money off my video than I made off my video.
Oh, for sure.
And I was, you know, they didn't say, hey, we're going to sponsor it out, or would you like to split? They just, I just figured they were throwing it up to be nice. You know, that's what I was doing. I mean, obviously they paid us to come film it, but I didn't go and then find sponsors for not only something I got for free, but you know, my own video. I was like, it's graduation. Like, these kids didn't get anything. Like, and you're running 5 minutes of ads in front of it.
Then you'd have their family there this year in a big old group cheering them on.
There's a lack of leadership somewhere with that company. I know some guys, and I know Joel Lucigo, and
I know some good guys. I mean, Chris, he'll come and fix our internet. You know, they cover, and it's not, you know, I don't have anything against him. I'm just like, something, you know, didn't translate there. I'm like, that was kind of shady.
Yeah. They pissed me off so bad one time. This is funny. You're gonna like this. Which, don't get me wrong, I love him. Bill Castler, I love him. And some really great guys that work there. And what they created when they were younger, you know, they created their empire up there on the hill. Now it's your time, without really much competition. Now it's your time to come in and kind of take some of that competition where they're slacking at. But regardless of that, they pissed me off so bad one time. And I still might go through with it. I just haven't decided yet. I spent like 2 weeks, sat down, did a whole mock-up of where they were slacking. And they were slacking on their social media marketing. Because companies, I know a couple companies, because they were customers of ours. I'm not going to say any names. But that were paying $500 and $700 a month for their social media marketing and advertising, and there was nothing there, there, and it was just like crickets on their page. They might post a couple of times a week or something like that.
So it would be to advertise on the ABC page, or would they just mix it for your page?
They would push for your page, your personal page, and you might get like you see a post that they'd get 7 likes or something like that, and I'd be like, oh my god, dude! I started my company grew tremendously through Facebook and through my ideas of advertising. I could kill them. I could kill and they've got hundreds of accounts, and they've got numbers running through my head. They're probably they've got profiting $30,000 a month to do this.
Website. I mean,
just off their website marketing, they're probably profiting, say, $30,000 a month off of that. between all the companies that do say they do, and then I was like, oh shit, I'm going to destroy them and start my own marketing and advertising. And then with that, I could get companies out of Columbus and Canton, and I could do, there's no,
And I think it's a generational. I mean, not that like, AVC's a little old. I don't want to be like they're like ancient. They're still doing stuff that's new and going to different events and stuff in the community. But I think there was this weird cross between we're radio advertising, and then I don't know where the line got cut, but now everything's Facebook, boost posts. There's ways to do it that aren't that method. And I think that's kind of where the line was. And we don't do, I would love to do company marketing, and I think we're going to at some point. I was telling you a little bit about that.
You've got my, everything that you've got in here right now was my plan on how I was going to put them under the ground. Was I was going to come up, say they're $600 a month contract, $1,000 a month contract. And I hope you do it. I hope you do it, because I don't know if I'll ever fully follow through with it one day. Right. If you want to partner up and do it together. But I was going to get video cameras and do like once a week. This package will give you, so many boosts plus blah, blah, blah. Once a week we'll come to your location, actually do a live video feed for your business to get you out there, because people like to see that. And that's what really boosts and grows your brand image for your company. And that's where they're just sitting behind the computer.
Right.
Which is great. Nothing against them. They got the accounts. That's, good for them. They keep people employed. Those people have kids,
Right. No, you don't want to,
Not that I want to take against from them. I hope you guys all live very happy, healthy lives, but I just know that I'm so much better and I can do things. I've always put the effort into it to where I want to be better than you at something, because I'm so competitive. I want to be the best at doing. I want to be the best. And I'll work twice as long, twice as hard. Might lose sleep over it. Might not sleep at all, like you said sometimes. But I'm going to be the best at this. I'm going to be the best at it.
No, I think that's a mentality a lot of, the younger business generations. I feel like a lot of the newer, obviously a lot of newer, that would make a lot of sense after you hear what I'm going to say. But I feel like it's coming from people that aren't necessarily were in business before or had, inherited this business. I feel like you're seeing a lot of younger driven people that are like, I'm just going to do it, especially with the help of Google and YouTube, and you can figure anything out. And I think people are realizing, okay, I don't have to sit and read a book for 30 hours to learn, X. Or
you learn more by hands on. Actually,
absolutely.
And that's what I did. I started with, hey, you want to do this little video for our gym? Yeah.
And the younger you are, the easier it is.
Snowballs. It's like one job leads to another. I'm sure it's the same, especially with your guys' stuff as a physical. I mean, it's a service, but then as a physical thing after the fact, you're getting, people, anyone that walks into these houses or walks onto these properties, like, wow, where'd this come from? And
it's
so that's it, literally, And so I think you're getting a good, your marketing. It's the same almost as videos if you think about it in a way. So like YouTube, you post a video, it's up there. You'll get your initial amount of big views or whatever it is, but then 3-4 years later, it's still there. Someone might stumble across it and then learn about your new stuff. And it's the same thing. That stuff's always going to be there. You can take pictures of it and all that and say, hey, look, sweet. Some people see that and want to do it. And then you'll have people that are just coming to the house to visit 3 or 4 years later and like, okay, this is pretty cool.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I love that patio. Who did it?
Yeah.
All these guys. Oh, I was thinking about getting me a little something,
That's a lot of
the business card.
When we leave it, and little stuff like that, even what I transitioned to is the business cards are so formal nowadays. I was like, I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to do it better. So we got brochures done. So whenever we meet a customer, they get this nice thick brochure that it's laminated and everything. Lee's Tees. People. Lee Campbell does all my stuff. I wouldn't take my stuff to nobody else. Lee Campbell does everything for me.
Right.
I wouldn't go to nobody else.
Oh, those two. Yeah, those two shirts behind you.
He's done
Lee's and
everything for me, and what he does is incredible. So that's just something like that. As I don't want to be like everybody else. I'm a trendsetter, not a follower. I don't follow people.
Right.
I'm not a follower. I lead, and now that I'm getting older, I'm 27 now. So learning that one of the biggest things is you leading by example. I was young and dumb once. I lived fun, had a lot of fun when I was younger, and now that I'm finally past and beyond that, being a leader of the community, being a face of the community, being what people look up to, kids look up to. They say, oh, this guy, because I grew up poor. I grew up at Columbia Courts. Grew up so poor.
Everybody looks up to you. You're 6'7".
I was on welfare growing up my whole life, and my family never really had money. My dad was, one of the bigger parts of my learning experience from my childhood, because he owned his own painting business, and I always looked up to him, and he'd always get me on the weekends and seeing what he did. But he settled a lot for me, and he was comfortable with what he did in his life, and what he did get out of working those 5 days and owning his own business and doing what he wanted to do was the fulfillingness of being his own person, not letting anybody. Because the last thing, I guarantee you, the biggest thing you hate is when somebody tells you what to do. Yeah. And so somebody tells you to do something, you're like,
yeah. I think that's pretty much the only reason I was like very invested in wanting to do my own thing.
Absolutely.
I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I was like, I never worked like at a sub. I never worked anywhere outside of this, and which is like every year I think about it more. I'm like, that's insane, to not have almost any capital. I think basically the thing that got me going was a camera I got for Christmas.
Yeah,
there you go. Just a $500. Like that was my investment. Was my parents.
How everybody gets started with this kind of stuff.
Right.
You just get one camera
and it can snow. I mean, and that's the thing is, until you're at a certain point, any camera outside of a phone, even an iPhone now, is really good.
Yeah,
you can do it. I mean, as long as you're willing to put in the time and learn how to do it, or what you need to do to make a shot look good, or you can do it. I mean, you can do it on an iPhone. You can do it on a horrible phone. It doesn't matter. And I don't have an iPhone, so everyone that thinks I was dogging I'm not. I'm just being like real old Androids. You can do it. People in these third world countries are famous in their countries with, an old iPhone, like an iPhone 3. It's crazy what you can do if you want to.
Yeah.
And that comes back to the comfortable thing is, do you want to do something cool, or and you could say yes all you want until you do it.
Yeah,
exactly.
And at that point, then you get, okay, I see where you're coming from. You're taking it a little more seriously, whatever it is. And I think I was going to wrap back to the AVC thing. I don't know why. There was something I wanted to say about that. Oh, the advertising and stuff it's a new school thing. And like with us, I would love to see numbers wise, because I know they're going to get a lot of clicks on an article, right? So like something happens in town, you post the link article, people click on it, you're getting views. Our side of stuff, it sounds like weird, but if we, instead of having to go find, and I thought about this one thing that kept me up, was instead of having to go find and call every business in the county, target Byesville if we want to try to sell ads to Meadowbrook games, or target East Gerns if you want to sell ads to Buckeye Trail games. If we could do the advertising thing, handle pages, but then also you're going to get value out of, hey, for $600 a month, $700 a month, you're going to get your posts, but you're also going to be on every live stream we do. This year, which it was a weird year, but I'm thinking it's going to be around for a while. This year we did 170 live streams already. Yeah. And it's just been since March.
Yeah. I love it.
I mean, and that's like,
it's busy.
Not even, so I was looking at some of the stats. We have our own proprietary platform. Instead of, we started with Facebook and YouTube, and it's easy, but it's very replicable. It's very, there's all these fake ones that are out on YouTube. There's fake games where you have to pay and they just take your money anyway. Yep. People are clicking on them because it's all new and they don't know what they're doing, and it makes sense.
Yep.
But we have our proprietary platform. If music's playing in the background, it's not going to get blocked from YouTube.
Yeah, they're not going to take away the money.
And so you can have, I'm not going to play just copyright music, but if it's playing through the speakers of the building or whatever, you would get blocked for that instant. Like the donut contest, they were playing music and it just turned it off like for 5 minutes. I was like, oh, what are we doing? And so, having your own platform, and it's hard to translate viewers from Facebook and YouTube into your own proprietary thing, especially if you have to go to a website. But like our website is very easy, kgp.tv. That was like the domain I wanted, because I was like, it's 3 letters .tv, and it's to watch
Simple
stuff,
to remember.
and it's easy to say, and that's So it's expensive. I mean, you'd be surprised how expensive a 3-letter domain name is.
Oh yeah,
think about that.
Yeah, GoDaddy.
It's some other thing, but
what was it?
I use Wix.
No.
There's one.
Squarespace.
No, it's just the domain
that's
one.
the one Joe Rogan used, Squarespace.
So I use WordPress for my actual site stuff, but the domain was like from like domainsomething.com.
Okay. There's probably a lot of them.
And but yeah, so I think I looked. We had like 120,000 views just through what we've streamed to Boxcast, and that's not including like the first 5 or 6 weeks of football because we weren't doing anything with them, and that's a lot of views there too.
That's a lot.
But to have that size of it's going to be a lot of the same people, but I think sometimes our site will get 5,000 views just on our site a day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a lot for a small website. You know, if YouTube, Facebook, you got your followers, Instagram, they'll see it. Yeah, if you're big, that's great. But when you're a small company and you're bringing in that size of a viewership per day, that's valuable. And I don't want to say it's easy. It is, but if like let's say Westfall,
it's easy because you think it's easy.
Yeah, but it's not.
That's what that's like. I think that the work that we do is so damn easy, but people are like, I could never even know where to start. It's like, but it's just second nature. It's nature to you. You don't know. It's.
And I think it's easy because you put the work in before.
Exactly.
Now that you've been doing it for 2 years,
you know what
easy,
you're doing. Right? It's a flow. Yeah.
But I think being able to say $700. But you're also going to get your ad seen on everyone from Malvern to River. Yeah. For that, especially if we're doing all those schools, that's hundreds of thousands of views.
Malvern. No, where is Malvern?
Up. It's by Strasbourg, Minerva.
Yeah, off 250.
Yeah, up that way. They're good.
Are they?
They're really good. Their boys are number 1 seed. Girls are 4 seed. That's who's playing right now. I didn't check anything, but yeah, they're both really good. Their girls are playing tonight. That's what I was.
Basketball?
Yes. So they're the 4 seed. They're playing River. Yeah. So literally, that's our base.
Yeah.
We've done River. We've done Malvern. That's up and down.
How'd you get on with those guys?
Just word of mouth. ADs, talking to ADs, saying and a lot of the schools. They would have someone come live stream, but it'd just be like with an iPad or we're doing the real deal. You're getting 2 announcers. And I think that's what people like, especially moving forward, if it's going to be around.
Absolutely.
If people are going to not come to the game and instead watch it online, it has to be good enough to watch.
So schools set like a yearly budget on, they know
this year they did pretty much because they had to.
Like how much are we paying KGP this year? Like a yearly budget.
They can kind of round that up
because that's all tax dollars, right? You're getting paid through tax dollars.
Essentially. Right. And so that's why I'm like, it's a really good service. I mean, for everyone, the schools get their games live, they get their players out there. Us, we make money. That's like part of it. Right.
Yeah.
But you're also, as a brand, if like we want to do more of this stuff, we're getting a bigger audience. We post clips from here to our Facebook page where everyone watches the games or clicks the links to watch the games at least.
Well, and it shows that you're multidimensional. That you don't just do the podcast setup or your outline for it's not following this sort of outline.
We're very flowy.
You can do ceremonies like weddings, or you got a lot of diversity in what you can do.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's good for us, and this will come back to bite me in the butt. Someone will clip this when we're out of business. Probably not. But
soundbite.
I don't think so. But the idea is, what could stop? A pandemic made us grow. And it's all about adapting. And I understand, if you're a restaurant, it's hard to grow out of a but you always got to be fluid and be able to have these different options. And so, if live streaming goes away, we have weddings. I can push weddings more and book a wedding every weekend of my life if I wanted to. If that doesn't, for example, this year weddings were low, so the live streams are great. So that made up there, and then.
I don't know any restaurant owner that only owns a restaurant though. Either.
It's true. There's not a lot of them. Maybe the Theodosopoulos. Do they own anything else?
I'm sure.
That's a dumb question. Dumb question.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, they own basically what restaurants had come into Cambridge.
Yeah. Well, I think between you got the 2 brothers and different ones, and they own multiple locations.
It's easy. Once you have some capital coming in. It's nice. It's always hard work.
With those restaurants pumped too?
you could start. They could come and say, you're out of business. We're going to start making videos. Like, all right. I mean, so no, I'm not going to go there with that. But
well, now ABC has a competitor that they never had.
Well, I'm okay with that. I'll go there.
And that's what you're taking from them. For them to do this.
It's a lot.
They're always going to be 2-3 years behind you.
Yeah, and there's stuff like radio. Not only would I not want to do that, but I'm never going to get into that. So like, keep that market. Whatever.
Radio is a dying thing.
I don't understand I know there's like some formula, but there was like reach 60,000 people in your area, and I'm like,
the only reason why it's still a market is because people are still paying for it.
Right,
they're advertising through that.
A lot of
lowest.
I think they started counting people that listen, and this isn't an ABC thing. This is a radio in general thing. So don't sue me. I'm not.
Yeah.
But I think the actual like radio statistics, I'm not sure, they started counting, and I know they did this with TV. So CNN does this, but they started counting people that would watch in groups, or would be like like if we were playing the radio through the speakers right now, we'd count as people, versus and this is what they did with the Super Bowl this was like the lowest watched Super Bowl since 2007. But
really,
that's pretty surprising.
Yeah, think about that.
Really, I didn't know that.
But it's also they even took into account people that watched from a B-dubs and then always used to just do in household, and that was all total.
Yeah, that's true.
And
that hard to get an accurate account on that.
Yeah, for a household.
I never looked at that.
B-dubs, you can kind of do it by average meal costs, and you can get a relative number.
And even that is like
households.
You know how happy I was when Brady and Gronk
it was fun
came together for 2 touchdowns in that game, like old times. I was like, good for them, because I grew up as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, so I hated New England.
Yeah. So
to be able to see New England, see Gronk and Brady do that for a different team, it's like, all right, buddy.
Yeah. No, I didn't watch a lot of football this year, but we did watch a Super Bowl. It was fun. It was a good game. I mean, not really, but I liked watching Brady and Gronk.
I loved it.
I think
Brady's a once in a lifetime deal. He's not going to be around forever. Better enjoy him while he's here. Kind of like LeBron, man. He's something. There's something special.
Yeah.
They're both something
crazy.
special about him. Enjoy them while they're here.
Great athletes.
I think you're going to see the age of athletes increase.
Oh.
I mean, it's natural because the death age is increasing.
Right.
But it's crazy how, people are just, we know so much now, what you should take when, how much food.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Drink this.
That's why him and LeBron are going to play into their 40s. And
they
why
were
nobody,
kind of the
there's players
pioneers
today that don't make it past 36. It's because of what they take care of their bodies. You think
Right.
Tom Brady's mac and cheeseburgers like Ben Roethlisberger out there?
Yeah.
drinking heavy Budweisers? No, I don't think Tom Brady does that.
No. Well,
and it
he
shows.
drank something on that boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a great time.
I love that.
Oh, yeah. That video was great. He was.
I had a buddy that was down there.
Yeah.
Down there when they were partying. He said that it was
Tossing the trophy.
Did you see that? The lady that
I did see that.
That's funny.
So dumb.
I love.
How was it, Tom? How does it look like?
I love people that are like that because it's just
funny.
But no, the one lady, that's
Lombardi's
husband made. Yeah.
Oh, look,
She was like, I want an apology.
An apology.
Why? Yeah,
look, your dad.
If it would have dropped in the ocean,
dead.
okay, maybe. But
she just.
Well, what does she care? It ain't her. It's her family name, but it's a disrespect thing. It's like, come on, put yourself in his shoes.
People don't think anymore before they say things.
They want the attention.
Social media is such a huge spotlight now that a lot of people regret, like the Morgan Wallen thing.
Yeah.
That was dumb.
So dumb.
That was so dumb. How are you about to say that?
Yeah. And well, that's what I was trying to explain to someone. And, I'm not usually someone that's like, I'm pretty like free and I don't care. But I was like, you guys realize the only thing he had to do was not say the N word.
Yeah.
And you'd be great. Like that's all you had to do. And you couldn't and you're famous and you make millions of dollars.
Yeah. You're in the spotlight. So everything you do is going to be criticized anyway.
Absolutely.
And that was the one thing, I've defended some tough positions, but that's the one I was like, I can't. There's nothing to defend there. It's easy not to do that.
It's not worth it anyway because you're fighting with people that are only going to see their side. So
right,
you're not going to get
there's nothing to gain.
You're not getting. I've talked with
beating a dead horse.
I've talked with so many people that are counselors that the way that they live their lives, and they say that, like for instance, somebody you go to Walmart and you tell them that you want, this is, you're getting refunded on this, so you go up to the refund desk area and whatnot, and you're supposed to get refunded for it, but the lady at the desk says that you can't. But then you tell them that the manager can, or the manager said that you could, but she's saying you can't. There's no point to argue with her because she's not going to change her mind.
Right.
They're just certain. That's just an example. There's no point to argue. So I don't even bother. Like it's not worth. I could be spending that time with my girlfriend or with my son or focusing on my business. Why am I going to argue with you?
No, I saw some guy go to Walmart. He's like, "Can I bring this?" Or he's like, "I want to return this game." And they're like, "You can't. Like, it's open, And he's like, throwing it, and he's like, I guess I'll just use it as a paperweight. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, what?
Or to leave it as a game.
There's no reason to be mad about it. What are you going to do?
I'll give it some 8-year-old for a birthday.
Yeah, if anything, make a kid's day.
Still a usable still a good product.
It was just so he was just so upset, and I'm like that's the dumbest thing you can be mad about.
Yeah, relax, man.
And even things that you should be mad about, it's almost too much work.
Could have taken it right down to GameStop if it was that big a deal, and he'd have gotten 35 cents for it, and it would have been out of his life. He'd never had to worry about it.
Yeah, but if you would have put that 35 cents on that game into the GameStop stock 2 months ago and sold it,
and really got his money, got $100 for your video game.
35 cents into it.
That's wild.
At its peak,
there you go.
You probably made
take the $2.
$23.
Right?
Yeah.
No, so Dogecoin, even going back to that, in like 2017, I had very little of it, but it would have been like $1,000 maybe. It might have been more, but it was like at 0.000, like mini zeros, like 3.
0.003.
Yeah.
0.003
for a while.
Very long time. That's when I first got into Dogecoin, and I learned about it. Never would I ever have thought that it would have pumped like it did now. I mean, granted, I guess I kind of did. But
I'm not a holder. I can't hold.
I'm a short-term investor, so I want my gains to be 10,000% a year. Right. I want $100 to be $10,000 in a year. So I'm going to try to do and hit every pump that I can.
Well, and that's as a business owner too. A lot of people don't think of it like this, but I try to. Is now that I'm in business, I wasn't investing a ton anyway, but at that point, like college, whatever money I did make, I was like, throw in the stock market. Like I'm not using it. Pizza, whatever.
And just forget about it.
Yeah. And so I took that out and bought a computer, and that's what we used to edit. But I learned that putting money back into the business is an investment. It's not a stock that you can see the growth over, but buying a podcast setup, you're getting, people have reached out to me already just on our small podcast page. Hey, I'd love to come on and talk about this. Right. Yeah. I'm like, it's an investment. It's not, the podcast itself might not make a lot of money up front. It can make a lot, down the line, but
most time it takes years for businesses to start turning a profit.
Oh, yeah. And we're still almost all outside of what I need to live. I'm throwing most of it back into this, into the podcast, back into
benefit.
That's what people say to me. Like they say, how do you grow your business so quick? It's like, well, I invest 85% of my profits back into the business. Literally. How are you not? You'd have to be a complete failure not to. And that's what I
don't know. Once you've got something, especially like a Theo's or something, yeah, sure, take your money. You've got your audience, you're established. Yeah. You can throw half of it, or even you could throw 30% of what they make into a business and make it work.
Yeah.
But especially starting out and getting rolling with a new business, you've never had any previous stuff. Most of it's going to go back to the business.
Riskier. I started off three years ago with one truck and a couple shovels for worms. Just one truck. I said, hold dog, I'm gonna start a business with this truck. I don't know what the hell it's gonna be, but I'm gonna figure it out. That's for sure. And I did.
Yeah.
And you learn in your field that you could go to Columbus and do these seminars, and then you can get certified. Like we're ICPI certified to do retaining walls, so we could do big structural Home Depot retaining walls.
Okay.
We could put bids on all these big high-end retaining walls and patio pavers and tree removal and whatnot. And there's no limit to what we can do. And then you learn and you say, well, you're going to continue to invest your money in your business. And then boom, all of a sudden, 2 years later, we've got multiple trucks, multiple dump trailers, an excavator, skid steer, a shop now, a building. It's crazy what you could do if you reinvest your money. At some point, you're not going to be doing that anymore. Maybe you will, because with our business,
You could.
Shit's
I mean,
expensive.
theoretically, right?
It's expensive.
Yeah. Well, and I know you mentioned earlier doubling.
Yeah.
We've done the same. I mean, as far I do all the accounting, so it's, I mean, sure, we're spending a lot too, but I like to look at my August, because our August is our football. That's basically the beginning of our year after a summer or whatever.
Right.
And so far, we started 2018. Well, no, 2019. $8,000. In August was the profit, not the profit, the
Net
income. Yeah.
gross. I
The
guess.
income or whatever, gross.
Gross.
Yeah. And 2020, I looked at it. I was at 16.
Yeah.
And in my head, I was like, this is a good idea. I'm like,
Yeah.
just try to double every
You're
year.
going somewhere.
And
That's what we do.
obviously you'll take any growth you can, but 2021, 32,000,
32.
like not even like 33 or 30. It was double, like literally almost to, not to the dollar, but like in that, like 8, 16, 32. I'm like,
Regardless,
yeah,
if you beat it or you don't meet it or you come close, what's important is that you set those goals and that's what you looked forward to and worked for,
right.
rather than you just kind of coexisting, not knowing what the hell you're going to do. Or
Yeah.
what are you doing? What am I going to do?
Floating in the void.
What are you looking forward to long term? There's an end game somewhere for everybody.
Yeah.
And then once they meet that, they either reinvest into that business or start another business and start investing into that business. What are we going to do? Our company is based around the people. Our company is based around our customers, our employees. We value our employees, and I'm very particular about our hiring process, and I, hire the certain people that I want for the image of my company, and we actually care about our employees' health and their their mentality and everything else, and we want these employees to have careers here, and we're able to offer medical insurance, and
Really?
now and that's big. That was big to me because
That is cool.
Speaking of which, I need to get signed up for that.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure Donald Trump's little thing's going to get struck to where you don't have to have it this year. I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, and
It will be
it's
back
very
to-
affordable.
Back
It's
to
too-
Obamacare, probably.
We do.
Or
Our medical
some kind
insurance
of
is like
affordable.
$180 a month. We have
Really?
a couple employees that are on it. I'm on it myself. I never.
Right.
Yeah, I don't go there.
Yeah, see, that's nice.
Yeah,
I'm still on my parents, which is good. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
I haven't been in
I'll stay
hospital
there.
in 8 years or so.
Yeah. No, that's so that's something too I've thought about is, you were talking about, employees.
Yeah.
We're in my head, I'm thinking it'd be great to be at 64 next August,
Yeah.
but I don't think I could do that all by myself. Now we've got like Ethan, he'll come in, he's still independently contracted to where he can come in, I can pay him X for this, X, but
As you need them.
outside of him, I've got no one that comes in daily or weekly or part-time.
Right.
My biggest thing, and I love that it works for you, and I hope it does. I hope you don't ever have any problems with it.
Yeah.
I ran into subcontracting. That's why I don't subcontract anything.
Now, see, ours are
It's his
in-
own business. I have
yeah.
great people. Billy Fisher, housing
Right.
construction guy. I have somebody like that. Adam, he's a hell of an investor, designer, and singer, and everything else. I have certain people for this and that. When I first started, the big thing, I would try to subcontract a job to another company.
Oh.
And they do like a really shitty job, or they'd
Yeah.
start to slack a little bit.
'cause they don't
the
care.
customers so say
Right.
like, not saying that it would ever happen to you, and I hope it never
Right.
does, because it sounds like you have really good trust in who you contract with. Say
Yeah.
Malvern School District calls you tomorrow and says, "Hey, your guy,
Right.
was caught blah blah doing this and this and this," and
Yeah.
it's like, that's on you.
Oh, yeah.
They might, it might not totally be on you, but at the end of the day, it's going to be on you because you hired them to do what they
It
hired
was
you to do.
your word.
But
Yeah.
you're just so damn busy that you.
And that's why I don't think I've added any employees yet. Is I want to make sure it's my vision still. I want to get. I hate paperwork. I hate all that, but I want to get like this out that says, hey, kind of like an employee handbook where it's
Yeah.
like, here's what we expect. Here's what you do with the equipment. Don't throw it in the thing. Yeah,
Right.
Because it's still all my equipment.
Yeah.
Treat it as if it was yours.
How long have you been in business for?
So I've been here for since July 2019
Yeah.
was when I got in here. I've been working with Meadowbrook since 2018. We've been just doing their photo. And then really once I got in here, that's when stuff starts picking up. You got people coming in, and so that's where, I think that next step for us is getting an employee, a couple employees.
Well, there's people that will help you, not just with getting employees to do that type of thing, but for the instance, because there's gonna be some type of anxiety built up somewhere. You're worrying about something somewhere, and that's why I found Mike Sikora.
Okay.
and the people at my accounting service, and the
That's
people that does my
probably where I need
accounting
to
and
head
whatnot.
is accounting.
And
Load off
Angel,
mine.
our main, she works for Mike Sikora down there. Really
Okay.
great people. We have Judy Steele. They do our payroll there at Mike Sikora's accounting. Angel does questions on my booking when it comes to QuickBooks. If I have a question, she's a wizard at that.
Yeah.
They have different wizards for all that. But then they've also helped with different things around the business that you would never think that an accounting company would. And they can write you up an employee handbook.
Okay.
And a lawyer can help you do contracts at a really cheap price and be able to say this looks very
And make
professional.
sure they're solid.
And then that way they're solid. So that way, if not saying they would ever would,
Right.
but say Indian Creek decided to not pay you for
Yeah.
your service. Well, you can ultimately take them to court.
Yeah, or whatever.
Which
arbitration
we've never
or-
had to worry about anything like anybody paying,
thankfully.
but I guarantee you that
It'll happen.
it'll
It-
happen.
eventually.
It's not-
Yeah, it always.
it's my big thing is anger, and I'll kick somebody's door and I don't get. I'm gonna get my goddamn money regardless.
See,
you
I
know
think
what mean?
I'm that's where I'm the opposite. Is I'm just like, I mean, obviously, I want my money, but it's difficult with this. It's not hard. I mean, you can go to a school and tell them,
Yeah.
but
Right.
to find the right person, go to accounting, go, oh, well, it's here. It's actually the AD needs to send this in, or it's like, you can't be mad at one
Yeah.
person. You
Yeah,
can be
it
upset,
wasn't
like,
just
man,
one.
like,
Yep.
why didn't they pay me? But same time, it's a school. They have the money.
Right,
It's
and,
coming.
and something
Yeah.
like that, is it worth dragging someone to court over
Right.
a year,
Yeah.
2 years? Sometimes it takes to settle these kind of small claim disputes.
You're gonna spend
It's
more just to-
you're going to spend
Yeah.
more on your time that you're losing out. It's opportunity costs you're missing out on.
Right. And
Yep.
and for the most part, our schools have been really good. I mean, we're always pretty
Yeah.
much paid within
It's a kind
month.
of small town area, kind
Right.
of sort of too. All these small schools and stuff.
Yeah, and I think they understand it too. Is like, you gotta, because a lot of our work is upfront sometimes. And is that do you guys do what, like a deposit? Is it
Big
all?
job. Say you're doing this last one we worked on was $80,000.
Yeah.
So he paid $35,000 up front, and then paid like another $35,000
Yeah.
a month ago.
Generally like half or
and then he has $10,000 left. He'll give us that when it's completed. We've got a few little things that we've been waiting for the weather to melt to
Yeah.
be able to finish, but people that are actually going to pay you understand that. So
Right.
even they'll send you a deposit, maybe a month or two ahead of time before you start the job. But if you don't do that and you plan to schedule a job, the people that are serious will pay you that deposit.
Oh
regardless.
yeah. No, that's the same with weddings.
Yeah.
I mean, we take deposit. Like, they're like, well, how do I get my day? And I'm like, just pay me.
Yeah.
Pay me,
A lot of
like, whatever it
times
is. It's not
probably-
half, it's a little less.
It just comes to talking to them too as a customer.
The
'cause
communication.
Some of them
Yeah.
get other companies have made them pay in advance and then just never shown up.
Yeah.
Just walked away with it, and it's like, well, there was no paperwork, no dotted line to sign.
We
on.
have
So,
contracts. We make you sign. We
Yeah.
sign. Everything we do is in order. It goes the same with the customer. Everything that they do is in order. We make sure that we have all of our T's crossed or X's crossed, whatever that saying is. and
Eyes
whatnot.
dotted.
Yeah,
Cross the I's, dot the T's.
Yeah, and
Something like that.
something like that. Yeah, I'm from the South. Part of South you from?
The deep south.
Little Nicky. That's funny. We went back to that. I wanted to use that earlier, but anyway. Ultimately, we're covered. Customers covered. We've heard of a lot of horror stories from other contractors ripping customers off, or customers ripping contractors off. It happens.
Yeah.
Biggest thing I've learned from I've seen, never happened with us. We've never had any problem with customers. Customers never had any problem with us. Biggest things that I've seen that I've taken from my own perspective, because you'll hear one thing from one side and one thing from the other side, was the lack of communication from the start. So we'll take our customer, we'll do a walk around the property, make sure they understand what we're going to do. It's in the contract what we're going to do. It's in the estimate what we're going to do. We do everything that there is to be done, and then there's no argument said at the end of the day. The biggest thing is contractor might say one thing and then do another, or a customer was under the assumption of it was supposed to be this way. And we give the customer a peace of mind by, once they see us and meet me and meet our employees and everything else, and we've become such good friends with so many customers of ours,
Yeah.
to where
Yeah.
That's- Yeah.
It's like, come inside my house and drink a beer and watch TV. I'll sit down on the couch with my wife, Darlene, scoot over, they're just
Mom, the meatloaf.
yeah, they're just really great people.
That's what I found too, is, even like we met kind of through Adam, but you meet people, and especially as a business owner, you start to you build a relationship with people.
Absolutely.
And
Network.
You're building a relationship with customers, but in our field, really, our customers are schools. So you're building those relationships with the people that are in charge of talking to you at the schools. Yeah. But you're also getting those kids following you. You're getting all this stuff.
And parents watching.
And then on the business side, we get to hang out, do podcasts, bring people in that are outside. I would love to bring in some of the school stuff at some point, but for the most part, it's been very business geared so far. But, you get to do this, and then you get to go on tour in the Gulf with Adam. That's just little things that always just end up connecting.
Oh, dude, that's going to be a cool podcast. I'll bring my straw hat.
Yeah.
I'll bring my straw hat.
Straw hat, Hawaiian shirt. Yeah. Definitely. I know that's coming.
Big fat stogie.
Oh, something.
Yeah, big old.
I think Ethan, the other guy, he's got a humidor, but it's... He doesn't keep it very humid. I think it's at like 55%.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be at 70, I think.
What is it?
A humidor.
Yeah.
Humidor?
No, it's way back there. It's way in the back of the... It's under that, like...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The brown box.
Yeah. But he needs to tend to his cigars a little better, I think. I
don't smoke them out often.
It's been...
I don't...
Pack backwoods there.
It's been a while. Well, we went to Myrtle Beach. That was when me and you went to Myrtle Beach.
That was the most cigars I've smoked in a 3-day.
I woke up, I thought I had COVID. My mouth was so sore. I was like, oh God, I'm done.
No, that's something I learned too. Like, I don't, on occasion, especially like a vacation or something, but there's so much nicotine in
the
versus like
so
a cigarette's like
so heavy
3 milligrams.
Yeah.
And those are like 100 each, and you're like, oh,
they give you a buzz. Yeah.
I smoked Black and Milds traditionally when I was, right out of high school. When I thought I
never did for a long time, and I still don't very often. It'll be
mostly when I drink,
mainly cigars.
I'm so glad I
like cigars
that,
about more than anything. They don't leave such a nasty taste in your mouth like cigarettes.
You don't feel like disgusted. Like
I'll sit there and chain smoke it. I'll smoke half a cigar while sitting and be like, "Ooh, I'm good for a few hours."
Right? Yeah.
You wake up in the morning and you have that feeling like you got to be doing something. Like that there's something, like you can't just relax. You can't just ever chill out like this.
So I mine's very moody. I don't know why, but for some reason I can. Like today, for example, I knew I had to be here, and this was a very, like, most days are not this, but I had to be here at like 6:30 because I had to take these lights, these cameras, and I had to go to Marietta by 8, set up, do a live stream. But it was about 4:30 in the morning, and I was just awake, and I was like, and I laid there, and I'm like, my eyes, like, I'm not tired. I was like, I'm gonna just get up. So I got up, got my shower, and I came here at like 5. I had other stuff I was going to do after the Marietta thing, which I'm glad I didn't. Got it done. Yeah. Then I can just hang out. It's all scheduled posts, so they all can come out at the exact time they need to. Then other days, I don't know. Some days I'll be a little more lazy, but once I am up, it also might come from a thing or a perspective of I've always done this.
Yeah.
So what feels relaxing to me, or what is like, that's not work.
Right.
It probably is work. Even this could be considered, this is just us hanging out, but this could be work if you really
branding,
right. Branding. And building a brand and marketing. But this is just what I do.
If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
Yeah. And I like that. But, obviously there will be some days like I'm like, oh, this is grindy. But like this stuff, love it. The music stuff, love it. The sports stuff, love it. There's some things we do that I'm like, this is, but it's still not horrible. I'm still not like, this is the worst thing I've ever done. But yeah, so I feel like I'm here a lot more than I think I am because, I don't have a household or a family to go to. That sounds sad. I have like obviously I have like a mom, but my personal family, my wife, my kids, that stuff. Why would I not hang out here? I've got internet, instead of going to Senecaville where I got nothing, and driving. This is where I just hang out, I'll go sleep at home, then I'll come back. But Yeah, I think I'm here a lot more than I give myself credit for.
Yeah.
It's just as far as even like going to a game. You know, I would be at a game tonight, or I'd be taking pictures here, or taking something there. It's work, but to me, I'm like, yeah, I don't work
Doing
that
nothing
often.
else, yeah.
Yeah.
I love what I do with a passion. I love what goals I have set for myself with a passion. I can't wait to, a few years from now, have those other businesses elsewhere and be able to have the freedom of to be able to go here and to go there, and and then to still have these people that are going to be in control of our company. And I never use me and my's when it comes to Westfall Services, because it's ours.
Right.
Greg, everybody plays a part in our company somehow. Caleb is our foreman on our hardscape crew, which is the retaining walls and the patios, and just what Caleb has learned in the last year is incredible. What I've learned in the last year is incredible. Yeah, our landscape foreman, Trevor Wilson, what he has learned in a year is incredible. And then all of our employees trickle down too from them, which everybody as a whole, and not just the employees, but our accountant and my support systems, like my girlfriend and the different people that I have that I'm able to give support for, because we all work together, and we all have one greater. Our greater outcome is to better serve the community and give people a better option.
Right.
And we might not always be the cheapest company, but you get what you pay for.
Right.
Pay for ultimately, because we do everything by the books, by the specs. We don't cut any corners.
Right.
You're gonna have something that's built that lasts for decades, rather than something that's built that lasts for half a decade.
Right. And I agree with that. I'll say, if it's something I go do, I'll be like, hey, I was down in Marietta today doing this, or whatever. But I do find myself on like posts on Facebook and stuff. I'll be like, hey, we are going to be live streaming, because even right now there's 3 games going on, but I'm here doing a podcast,
right.
So I couldn't do literally anything without my people. Now I'd love to employ them at some point. That'd be great. Yeah. But being as a media company, you're not going to get the advertisement from your local media company. You have to build your brand. You have to do it all pretty much yourself. The word of mouth thing's nice. Like, this is good because now people that are on your page or like, now they're going to see it. But as like building a media company, you almost have to be cheaper to start. And with our weddings, for sure, like, our price is going up and up and up.
Yeah, of course. You have to be competitive.
Right.
The price of everything else.
There's a reason it's expensive, or there's a reason it's not $400, because there are people that will do it for $400.
Well, and one thing I've learned over the years, and especially being a part of a lot of different groups and organizations and seeing different business owners, is people that have hardscape and landscape companies in California and Florida, Oregon, Washington, all over the world, or all over the United States. They might post a question and ask about a price of something. It's like, how could you truly price somebody else's something from their business if you have no idea how much it costs to operate their business? You have no idea how much it costs to operate their business. Somebody who might have so much overhead. I feel like we've been picking on ABC a little bit too much, so we'll use somebody else. So we'll say like Respecs has so much overhead. Yeah. They between their advertising campaigns and everything else that they roll out, they don't really have too much competition when it comes to, their prices might be a little higher, but their food's healthy. You're getting a great product from them.
A person and I'm not against like the self-service terminals that. I know there's people that don't like that, but I'm like, one of their things at Respecs, like, that they pride themselves on is like, you've got a cashier. And I don't care either way, but that's like a thing. That's why it might cost a little more. You're getting that personal.
Give Jimmy a $5 tip for helping carry your groceries out.
And someone's going to carry them out to your car, if you want them to.
Well, that comes with being a
I love it. That's what. So you want to put them inside my house?
I go and get sushi there like 3 times.
I was going to bring some here. I had some for lunch.
What do you get?
California roll, spicy California roll.
I get the chef special 12.
That's like $10.99.
It's expensive. Yeah. It's a little $12.99, but it's good.
I'd change it today. That's whatever I feel.
Yeah, I got stuck on that for a while, and then
roll.
Shogun came in, and
I haven't had it yet. Any good?
It's affordable. I mean, it's really not that badly priced. Like you can get, I don't know. You ever had curry?
Curry.
Try it sometime.
Oh, I'd love to.
It's different. It's a Thai dish, but I love it. I mean, curry. It's like
Thai curry.
It's like yellow. It's like a soup, but like you get like chicken curry. It's
spice.
chicken.
Yes,
Like an
I
Indian-
had
like
some. I had some in
Indian
Miami.
spice.
It's
we
so
went
good.
We went to Hard Rock Casino and went to this little restaurant inside there called Korean Barbecue.
Yeah,
something
they
like
probably
that.
have it.
Yeah. And then Jordan, my buddy Jordan Jones.
Okay.
Got some. I tried some of his.
Oh, I love curry. I mean, I'm like so excited that there's like something right here. It's like $10. It's
Right, you gotta
massive.
go
I mean,
to
it's a portion. You know,
Really?
and you can get sushi.
Very
like-
nice.
Compared to like Fusion and St. Clair's, what would you compare it to?
So it's basically a fusion without hibachi. Like it is hibachi because that's what the food is called.
Yeah.
It's not
but
like
you
the
don't
grill
sit in
Yeah.
front of them.
Oh,
You get,
okay.
there's not that.
I was wondering.
That's
how
the whole
many of them-
experience of why
I know.
like to go.
I like going.
I was wondering
throwing
how many of
sake
them
in my
girls-
mouth. and
Yeah,
all
my
that.
son, my girlfriend's daughter. Well, I took her. She was her first experience there 2 weeks ago. She loved it.
Love that onion
fire,
volcano.
fire. And then the guy got her on the other table so that way she could see the fire on the other table, and she loved it. Yeah, it's
It's an experience. Yeah. But like it's basically that, but you're just paying for the food, which is good. Yeah.
Well, Texas Day Brazil, the same thing.
Right.
They walk around on swords with meats and whatnot.
yeah. Oh,
And
that's fun.
They got one in Miami, right down by the water, by the yacht club there, where they have all the yachts on the boat. And that Texas Day Brazil, dude, it's unreal.
We went to
That's still probably the
one-
best restaurant I've ever eaten at there.
Never heard of it.
I think we went to one in Houston.
Yeah,
I think that's the most food I've eaten. They just keep coming. You're like, yeah, put it on there, load it up. It's so good. Yeah, we went to like one, and then this is before like.
what were you doing in Houston?
Just hanging out. We took a vacation there. 2019. No, it was actually it would have been 2019 because we went down. It wasn't for my birthday, but it was like on my birthday.
Yeah.
And so I turned 21 in Houston.
Oh, very nice.
And there was this, the railway or the rail yard, best like dive bar. Just like, what a place. The guys that went there, they're probably listening. They're like, yes. I mean, just the stories. Because we went down there and, we went to this, it was like the closest thing to our hotel. Like, so we could just walk there. Right. And, the story is like so surreal. To paint you a picture, it was me, buddy. We're all just sitting around. To my friend's right is two linebackers from the Chargers.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I don't think they were like started, but they were like, yeah, we played for the Chargers, and I'm on the whatever. To my other buddy's right, he's got like three. He's the pretty boy. He's got three girls hitting on him.
Who you, buddy?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and and then I walked outside. It was the blood moon, so there's just this gigantic moon in the sky.
Yeah.
It just like all these little things that
It's
like made,
different.
Yeah,
there,
and
though.
it wasn't like just like, oh yeah, we went to this bar. It was like, and there was so much other stuff.
It's the experience,
and-
really, what makes everything great.
yeah.
It's what you feel like. I can think of being a young kid and thinking something was so great, and then looking at that thing now and thinking, what? It was.
I'm still
like,
probably in that phase.
It's that phase of euphoria that your brain is trickling, that euphoria that makes you think that experience is so much greater because you watch a movie and it changes your life.
Yeah.
And then you watch the movie with somebody else or tell somebody else to watch it, and it's like they hate that movie. And you're like, what's wrong with you? It's that everybody's brain's different, and that euphoric vibe that you get at that time makes that
probably get a hit
so
of
much better.
it's probably so like movies, for example, you mentioned that. I'm not like a big movie guy, I don't watch a lot of movies. I watch some shows, but I'll watch some movies and I'll be like, that's life changing. But then 5-6 weeks later, there's something, there's a couple movies that I can very much remember, like my first like Wolf of Wall Street. I was very young, but it was still just like, that was a cool movie. And you still think about, but a lot of them that I've thought about, I guess, like anything kind of I don't know, science fiction-y, where it's like, this could be this, and you're like, wow, that could be. Then like a few weeks later, I'm like, like I don't even remember it. I don't.
Well, what I like best about movies is that I'm a little dumb, so I'm gonna forget that movie in like 3 months, and then I can watch it again. It's like, oh, cool! It's like a whole new experience again.
See,
I can't tell you.
I'm not a double movie guy.
Nah. Well, how about like Netflix series, like The Sinner?
Nothing. There's nothing I can watch twice.
Never rewatch The Office.
The only time I'll rewatch The Office is when it's on. You know, like I'm not like
replaying episodes.
Yeah,
there.
I can't remember how many times I've seen series. Like I wanted to live through my friend who was experiencing this series for the first time, so I'll watch it again. Or like my girlfriend, I wanted her to experience it, so I'll like, kind of re-experience it through her eyes, a little bit. To
I could see
what
that
she gets from it.
Yeah,
I like watching things multiple times too, because you catch stuff. That you
now see that's
the first time you watch through, you kind of going with the plot.
Right.
Second time you
get to look around a little more.
Yeah, you're looking around the background. You notice like little Easter eggs, stuff like that.
And I think maybe the reason I don't like watching them then again is I'll watch something and be like, that was great, and then I'll go on YouTube and like 7 things you missed, and I'm like, oh, I'm like, I can just do that. No, I've done that, and I think that's YouTube. Okay, so maybe this is where my disconnect is there'll be a YouTube video I watched like 3 years ago, and I'll watch it again. That's what I'll watch again. And it could be a longer 30-minute thing. And I'm like, I kind of remember this, but I don't. And I'll go watch. I guess I don't even really watch as many movies and shows as...
A lot of stuff the nostalgia. To see if you get the same feeling that you felt like watching it when you were a kid. Like I watched Holes again.
Yeah.
It's I'm tired of digging holes, Grandpa. Well, that's too damn bad. I watched that again. And I watched it with my son.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
8 years old now.
That'd be fun.
And watched it through his eyes and how much he enjoyed it. And then there's so many things I didn't pick up as a kid that you get now as an adult.
The subliminal messaging.
I guess I did watch The Lion King, and you watch some of these Disney movies, you're like, man, I didn't understand that when I was 12.
Saying something else to adults, right?
But I think that's interesting too, how they can do that, and it's not bad enough to where it's like, oh, like.
Right.
Like no kid would ever get it.
Like and really, it's kind of genius.
I think that might be the success of some of the Disney stuff.
Very intelligent.
Man, like
if you're not just marketing your
even
at that point you're not just you're not just
SpongeBob was huge.
There's a lot of SpongeBob that you don't get until you get it.
My dad loved SpongeBob so much.
My dad too.
And we would watch SpongeBob. Came out when I was like 7. I had my son when I was 19, so now being 27, he's almost 8 years old, which is awesome because we have so much fun together, dude. We're best friends. And he's watching SpongeBob and all those things that I used to watch, and I get to rewatch them again. It's like cool because I'm so young that you can actually remember your experience when you were 7. Rather, when you're 50, there's a chance you're not going to remember that when you were 7.
And I think that's something good about the starting a business young, or at least giving it a try. To see if you like it. But if you do, great. Like
it's not for everybody, though.
No, it's not. It's not. And then I see people start at an older age too. Great. That's great. But I think as a young business person, 40-ish under, I don't want to put an age on it because some people are 50 and they run their business like a young bit, but
they do.
I think having that experience and at least trying to push yourself into a leadership role, even if you probably came from one at some point, if you were on a team or something, you might have been a captain or what, but I think it really pushes you to see the world different. Obviously it pushes you to see the world differently, but you see it from this perspective of I am in control of what happens with this and what happens with this versus some of my friends, they're Centria guys, they can only do certain things certain times, and if that's what I think I have a tough time coping with around here. Coping is
when you work for yourself, you make that money that you make when you work for yourself is ultimately the sky's the limit. You can make as much as you want.
Or as little as you want.
2 hours a day, work 2 hours a day. You want to work 20 hours a day, work 20 hours a day. How much do you want? What do you want out of it?
Yeah.
They're Century guys. They have comfy cushion. They've got, they work 8, 12-hour days.
and there's some comfort in that. I
They
mean,
make really good money.
Right. Oh, good money.
They've got
they know it's coming,
insurance,
but there's a limit to it.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's not really an
and-
incentive to do any higher or do any better.
Right.
What are you willing to settle for in your life?
Right. And I know some of them, especially now, I don't know if I can vouch for the older ones, the real old ones that have been there 40, 50.
Yeah.
But some of the younger ones I can understand, especially you can say I'm defending my friend Z. I have 3 or 4 that work there.
Yeah, I can think of a couple friends that have that work there.
Yeah, but the thing I think is at that age, I know some of them will probably be there until they're 70 or whatever. But then there's some that see it as a stepping stone to get money to start whatever they want to do. And that's great too.
That's what I did at an early age. So like I said, I grew up really poor. I lived at Columbia Courts until I was old enough to decide who I wanted to move in with. And then I moved in with my dad, and then I got a different perspective of life. And I've seen how much life was, was whole, different world. I was able to see all these opportunities that my dad was able to show me. And then, getting the leadership from him, and then from playing sports, which granted I was never really good at sports, but I met a lot of really great friends and got that leadership that I got from the sports, and used it into what I wanted to do with my life. Had a son at an early age. I was managing gas stations for a guy by the name of Paul Bath. He was a Sikh Indian guy. I learned a lot from that guy. I managed like the marathon over there on Southgate Parkway when it was still there before it shut down. And then I left him and started managing Circle K in New Concord. I was 19, making $450 a week. I thought it was great money for what it was, for what you were doing. Working 12 hours a day managing a gas station for only $450 a week. I got my girlfriend at the time pregnant. $450 a week wasn't going to cut it. A buddy of mine said, "Hey, do you want to come work on the pipeline with me?" I said, what's the pay? He said, you probably bring home about $2,000 a week. I was like, oh, hell yeah, let's go. Yeah. So I did that. Of course, I experienced a lot of young and dumb experience for the first couple of years of spending a lot of money on dumb shit, and that's just kind of
it just comes with making good money for once in your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's a grace period.
Yeah,
it's like,
finally got money, man. Now it's not an awesome.
Right.
Go eat out, steak and chicken, steak and ale every night.
And then after a while, you start to think, is it worth working on the road and being away from your family? And this isn't what I want to do in my life.
Yeah. How much do you value your time?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's something I've seen explained many times is, as a business owner or someone that you don't have to even own a business, if you're doing your own thing, and you're just a sole proprietor, you are as valuable as you want to be. Obviously you got to go make your money. But if you say, hey, I think my value is $50 an hour. Well, and this is a very this is one of those YouTube guys explaining it, so it's very technical. But say you could say I'm worth $50 an hour, or some people, if you work at a factory job or something, or let's say you do make $50 an hour working somewhere, that is your worth. You can't then go and say, well, I think, actually I'm worth $200 an hour. What is your rate?
Right.
What is your time worth? I could go do one thing for 2 hours and make $200 an hour, or I could go do 7 things over 7 hours and make $100.
Exactly.
So the limit is where you put it, and then they also put it into this perspective of there was this guy, he owns a lot of real estate and is an entrepreneur, gets into other businesses and stuff, and he's like, I would value, he's like, when I was younger, I'd value myself at $200 an hour or whatever it is, but then he thought, so then for me to go and get my own oil changed, at that point when you're making that much money, he's like, that means I'm going to go pay $18-$30 whatever for an hour of my time. He's like, that's not worth my time.
Right.
Yep.
He's like, so I could pay someone. He's like, I wouldn't, but he's like, I could pay someone $180 to go get my oil change, and I'd still make $20 because my time is worth $200 an hour.
Right.
So it's how much do you want to value yourself? And you don't want to overvalue yourself early. You don't want to just start a business like, I'm $1,000 now. But at some point in your business, if you're becoming successful, you can then think to yourself, I think my time's worth this. Mm-hmm. And then you can then prioritize and say, well, if I can make $200 an hour, why would I go change my oil? Why would I not have
friends that all the time they say, Oh, they'll say, well, why don't you just clean your truck yourself or something like that?
Do you take it to
Like,
Mark?
Yeah, I did, which I met through you because I seen him on your podcast. Super cool dude,
He's
too.
cool.
And then I ran into him at the Fusion in St. Clairsville Steakhouse there a couple weeks ago. Yeah, he did it. Dude, you should get see my truck. It's still spotless. It's the cleanest it's ever been.
Good.
So he did a damn phenomenal job, and I'll take it back. I'll start taking all my trucks to him.
I want him to get like a garage in town.
Yeah.
Just like right. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, I'm gonna take all my trucks to him from now on.
Yeah.
But why don't you do it yourself? And me spend 2 or 3 hours on it, and then lose out on 2 or 3 hours of doing estimates or being in the field with my guys or being with a customer or helping someone somewhere. It's not. It's worth spending $100 to have somebody do it for you because
Yeah, and that's I see that a lot with.
and you're helping his business.
Yeah, it helps
Oh, yeah.
a small
Local.
business
Absolutely.
too.
Local.
That's what it's
And
all
if it's
about.
not a business, it might be one of your employees or
Yeah.
one of your friends. You say, "Hey, you want to make some money?"
Yep.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, even me growing up, in high school and middle school, you'd look at rich people that are making X amount an hour,
Yeah.
and there's some, whatever. But you'd look at them, you'd be like, "Oh, they just don't know how to do nothing by themselves," or what? He has someone change his oil for him. Like, it's
not self-reliant.
sometimes that's the case. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
but
right.
Yeah.
There's a lot
you
of shit that I don't know.
Yeah, but you also got to realize that guy makes more money having someone change his oil
Yeah.
than he does going and doing it himself. And it's like,
It comes down to opportunity cost.
Ryan Ford, right back
Yeah.
there, is a great friend of mine, and we probably spent $30,000, maybe $40,000 with him last year between transmissions and motors and just tires and
like every
brakes
couple
and
weeks
everything
we sit
else.
there.
Yeah, like we do a lot of production. We produce a lot
This
we,
year. Yeah.
We do a
ran
lot
things
of
hard last year,
production and constant production, too,
Yeah.
consistent, 6-7 days a week of production to where there's really no time to maintenance stuff. So some of that stuff might have been on me, but I learned. I know, it's all, everything's a trial and error. It's all a learning experience.
Right.
But like Ryan Ford, incredible guy, does all of our maintenance on our trucks. So motor, transmission, tires, doesn't matter what it is, he'll do it. Ultimately, that's what it's all about. I don't know how to do that stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm helping his local business.
it would cost you more to learn it.
Yeah, exactly.
Same with like your business when people are like, well, that's expensive. I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
Okay, go learn
That's
how
fine.
to do it.
Yeah,
Go get the
exactly.
certification.
Tell you what,
I don't
It's
know
pretty-
nothing about putting transmission in a vehicle. I don't know about you, but I wasn't raised in that
You
lifestyle.
figure it out,
Right.
put enough time into it, but it's not worth the time.
That's like everything I learned. I kind of taught myself through YouTube anyway.
Right.
At the
And
start.
I'm the same way. I mean, I didn't have to learn how to do things to my car.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna learn how to put a transmission.
Yeah, it's just it's
Not if
even
I have the money.
It's
to
not even
just
worth
sit
your
it down.
time.
No.
I mean, it's like even especially nowadays with how complex cars are becoming.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Yeah.
You almost can't work on
Old
them
square,
yourself.
something goes clanking in an old square by. It's like 4 things that you could be wrong.
Yeah.
But it's funny that you
Nowadays,
said
be
that
anything.
a minute ago, though, because it's funny what people will try to tell you should do with your business. Like, oh, you should do this.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well,
You could do
no.
it. You do it.
Why don't you start your own business? And
Yeah.
do it.
No, I've heard that a lot, and I have a lot of people. They're they mean well, like they
Right.
It's no one like
Yeah.
saying, hey, you should do this, and be like, oh, that's gonna get them. But at the same time, like if I want to do it, I will. Yeah. I'll get to. I thank you for
Right, always-
showing me and showing me that's an option.
Always take things into consideration.
Yeah.
Because somebody might stumble onto something absolutely brilliant that you ain't thought of before.
yeah,
right.
That's my
always
biggest
take it into
thing.
consideration.
Yeah, no,
It's just
if
kind
you're
of slowing
listening-
down because I go 100 miles an hour all the time,
All the time.
especially in the spring and summer. It's slowing down and, listening.
Right.
And there's so many things that, Caleb had his own ideas on in the field. I didn't even know. I
well,
would have never
sometimes
even
it's
thought of
nice
that.
to have an outside person. So like,
Mm-hmm.
I know they've taken like preschoolers and said like, solve this problem. Now obviously they'll dumb it down a lot, but
Mm-hmm.
then they'll be like, okay, and it's not world hunger, but they're like, you just solved world like,
Yeah.
and it's just because you never thought about it. Like you got to think about it in an
You're
abstract.
almost too
or
close
you
to
gotta-
the problem.
Yeah,
It's incredible how smart my son is too, and how like he'll say things that'll like make you think, and you're like, "What the hell? Why would you even think to say something like? How would you even know to say something like that?" It's like, but when you really stop and think, the options and the idea of life of, how many possibilities an outcome. But like, what could happen? There's a million possibilities to every outcome. It could have gone this way. This could have happened. That could have happened. Theory. And then you sat there.
Are we alone?
Here we go.
There's no way that we're not the only. Earth is not the only planet with population on it. There's 100% no way. There's so many planets out in that galaxy. There's so many different.
They're learning a lot about the.
There's no way. It just doesn't possibly.
No, it's
not possible.
That's the the great filter. Is that what it is? Where it's like, you know, there's like a theory that if either we are the most intelligent beings, which is the chances are very slim, and there are like microorganisms and other stuff on other planets.
Yeah,
but then for some reason there's this filter between steps in, you know, what it takes to become a sentient being that like some or most civilizations can't get past, and we're in like the 1% of, you know, and even then that would still mean there's other smart life forms. Yeah. But why have they not visited, or have they? Yeah, that's where it gets interesting.
I think they have.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure they have.
I think they have. Or they at least they're like, we don't want to visit.
Well, and you got to think of it too as like ants. You know, do they know we're here? Or
exactly.
Or even like take ants in like the Amazon jungle. They're there. They're living their own thing.
Yep.
They don't know we exist, but we know they exist.
We're so big to them.
It's like we just don't like. There's no point in us interfering with that.
Certain parts of the government know that some of these things exist, but if this were to come out and actually come out to where people believed it, there would be a worldwide panic.
Right.
It would be awful.
It's like I
believe so.
You think they're starting to release like documents on it and stuff to distract Trump, or slowly ease us into.
Trump did in one of them bills. He told the CIA or whoever they had 180 days to disclose information that they knew. I don't know that if it was so much a distraction as it was like with all this shit going on already. People's already preoccupied. If we just throw this out,
it won't get as much traction.
People are just they're gonna push it to the back burner because it's not the most pressing thing. Now if we were to become quote unquote invaded, you know, where they said here we are Earth, absolutely that jumps up to our number one priority, because now we got to think, okay, well the technology that they have could be millions of years, tens of thousands of years more advanced.
We just got to hope they're friendly.
We're the ants. We're the ants.
Seriously,
we're the ants in that system, in that example.
And that's something too. Is I think people always think, well, if the aliens are here, they're going to invade us. It's like, what if they're not mean?
Well, think about it.
Like, why would they?
You brought up
why do you ultimately think they're mean?
Yeah.
We go to the jungle, deep into the jungles in Africa or South America to study primates and to study ants.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't a higher form or a higher being be interested in studying us lower primates?
Right.
In their eyes.
What if we're just like crazy
crazy monkeys with nuclear bombs? Why wouldn't you want to keep an eye on it?
Or we're like a zoo. You know, like our planet's just a zoo.
God, why wouldn't you? Yeah.
Or we could be an exhibit in a zoo. Yeah. You know, like we don't know. Like, and that's what's crazy is we don't. No one knows. Like, we could be the most advanced thing ever for some reason, which is highly unlikely.
You hear so many stories. You hear so many credible arguments. Like Commander David Fravor. You ever listen to that podcast with
is that the pill one?
He was the Tic Tac. He's an Air Force pilot. God, you can't find a more credible guy.
Right, and he had no history of like lying or over embellishing.
What does he gain from it? You know, nothing.
Yeah.
He's a pilot, for God's sake.
No,
and then Bob Lazar, you know.
Oh yeah.
You watch even on the Netflix documentary. You listen to the guy talk. You watch him talk. He gets headaches and stuff. Like it bothers him. He's gotten nothing but bad rap since the '90s, since he started working at SR5 or whatever he started working at SR4. It hasn't brought him any fame or anything. So it's like, what does? God, the guy seems so sincere. He's not gaining anything from it. So why would you?
Some people will believe. Some people won't believe.
And he'll tell you too. Like,
some people won't believe if it's right in front of their face.
Yeah,
that's true too.
He'll say too,
it could be here and say.
He'll tell you if he doesn't know. He's not going to say they're bullshit. He says, I don't know. You know, I think this is what I saw, but
it's
like, man, that's
and his story's been pretty consistent too.
Over 30 years.
A lot of them changed.
Yeah, he's been incredibly consistent over a 30-year period.
Yeah, I think I just watched that Joe Rogan pretty recently. That's why it's so.
That's fresh. One of my favorite ones between him and Jeremy Corbell, the guy who produced
the guy that was with
documentary. That's a very good one. That one, the Commander David Fravor, was a good one.
Who's the guy that had their dad was in the military too? The father was in the military, and he had like a bunch of
Alex Jones.
The declassified.
No, Alex Jones. Oh man.
Oh, that's the like really angry dude, right?
Yeah, the one we listened to was like a 5-hour just nonstop.
He's in love with it, right?
No,
that'd be cool, man. I hope that whenever I get the experience to go on Joe Rogan podcast, I'm allowed to invite you guys to come because I know how much
I'll be there.
You guys would really enjoy it.
I just want to shoot his flamethrower.
I'm sure everybody wants to hit that.
Well, by the time, what'll happen is that he'll be vacationing in Miami.
Pick his brain.
And Joe will be vacationing in Miami, and he'll rent jet skis from me.
Yeah, right. That's how it's gonna work.
That's how we'll run into each other, and I'll be like, "Hey, dude, do you want to hear my story?"
Yeah.
He'll be like, "No, but fuck it, let's do."
No, I think he has like I think someone was talking about it on a podcast one time, or on another podcast. Is like he like vets the people he brings on mostly, not like big celebrities, I'm sure, like calculated, but he said like as far as like his like scientific guests, and he says like he'll take them to the bar first.
They usually go to like dinner or something the night before, and they just
sit there and talk. And he's like,
get an idea.
You should come to the podcast, or he'll meet someone. He kind of sees how they are. Are they personable?
Yep.
And then he'll be like, all right, come on up. Like,
and even he says sometimes he has guests that just like I've seen them before where they're almost, they get real defensive on them at times, and you feel the tension in it. And it's like,
I think Joe does a real good job at just like asking the questions.
He's a very reasonable guy. And like the more you do it, you're gonna get better too at interviewing.
It's people. A practice thing.
You learn when to talk, when to interject, when to let someone finish it. Like I've never done this before, and I find myself kind of interrupting a time every once in a while. And that's something you can't get. It's a rhythm. You start to learn what kind of questions to ask. Really how to get to know your guests and stuff. Right, and that's something I wanted to make sure. I'm not gonna say never, because there will probably be a reason I would want to at some point, but for the most part, I want my guests in person. Yeah, absolutely. The Zoom. He does the Zoom, and boy, it's hard sometimes. It's hard to watch. Yeah. It's just you can interrupt. You can't like even like right now, like we can interrupt each other on a counterpoint, or we can Zoom. You're like, excuse me, what? Go ahead. And it just doesn't work. Zoom through school, and it's. Those kids don't get anything. It's tough. It's most kids get sleep during Zoom meetings, from what I hear. None of those kids are getting anything from Zoom, and those kids are going to be way behind. Those kids are probably by the time added up now 6 months behind in their education, and they're just going to pass them on. They're not going to just fail everybody and make them repeat the same grade. That's what they did with the end of last year. There were kids that were failing. Our kids are parents too. A lot of parents feel that it's the responsibility of the teachers to teach your kid. Well, now with all this going on, and kids being at home, they realize a lot of it's all the parents. Literally, it's 90% the parents. The teacher's supposed to teach the students education material, and but a lot of it comes with the parents too. Yeah, there's some good ones out there, teachers wise, that have done okay with it being Zoomed and everything. Yeah. But I find a lot of the ones that are working are the ones that understand. It's hard to make a teacher learn Zoom, learn computers. Oh, it's but the ones that get it, I think they're doing okay with it. They're, as far as I've seen a lot of success. I act like I know, but I actually, we just went and I filmed the OVSC this morning, and they are like educational service centers. So they service everywhere from, Cambridge down to River West and Virginia, Switzerland. But a lot of the success stories they were showing today was from YouTube videos. Teachers would have their lesson plan, and it'd almost be laid out like a YouTube channel where it's a similar format every time. There's an intro, whatever the lesson is then thrown into this almost formula that is working. Interesting. But they also they have like a weekly Zoom thing where they can like ask questions. But I think to try to hold a kid's attention on Zoom every day. Man. But especially kindergartner. Yeah. I dated a girl that was a kindergarten teacher for a few years. There's no way. In person, it's tough. There's no way. But I think they're finding some success with these video formulas. They're almost like the YouTube videos they want to watch, but it's their teachers, and that's an undertaking. I mean, to do that and commit to making all these videos and finding your format, that's tough. But they're finding some success with that, but it's not in person. Is just There's a social aspect.
You can't form friends,
friendships. Yeah, kids don't learn how to take a bully.
We think we were soft, or our generation's soft.
Well, that's what.
Wait till you see this with kids that only had mom and dad for 3 or 4 years, never got called a mean name in their life.
Well, what's the saying? Hard times make hard men. Hard men make easy times. Easy times make soft men.
Yeah. A lot of these kids
we're into the point where we've been in easy times for a long time, and we've all become soft.
2018.
Yep.
A lot of these kids aren't even parented by their moms and dads because mom and daddy overdosed and they're dead now.
Right.
And I have a lot of friends that died from that, which I'm not saying anything against that because I know it's really hard to break that addiction cycle. But these kids are parented by their grandparents or by, foster homes
or even parents that don't care. They're just like, I got work. Are you gonna have to figure it out?
Or just don't have the means. Don't have
and it's expensive.
Both parents
keep kids at home eating every day.
Yeah, buddy, it's rough. I feel bad. I wish I could adopt all those kids.
Right.
And be able to afford to give them a home, as many kids as there are that would want. Because it's so important to have that proper household that you would see, what you think the American household is.
Yeah.
At least to have, a father to look up to and a mom to listen to, and then, your parents actually stay together and love each other, so that way you know what love is supposed to look like. So by the time you're old enough to love somebody else, you know who to follow.
Yeah. It's definitely, there's you can see it on ACT scores, you can see it on tests, how kids are in class, behavior. I mean, having a 2-parent household is not, my parents were divorced at X age. I was like 10 or something. It's not, you can determine your own future, but you see a lot more success rates in happy family homes that have mom, dad.
Some kids have it harder than others.
Yeah.
But how bad do you want it?
Right. And that's, I think, what it comes down to is there is definitely, you can see an advantage in certain, situations.
Absolutely. Not everybody starts at the same start line.
But I think the beauty of it is if you're determined enough, and this isn't you can't do this in everywhere in the world, but at least here for now, if you're determined enough, you can do what you want to do. If you believe in it, if you think it can work, as long as you're working towards it, you can do it. I mean,
it doesn't matter as long as you're working towards it. You could have
it could take
Steve
years.
Harvey story, and come from absolutely nothing,
the ghetto in West Virginia,
or have the Kardashian story. To where what's her name? Not
Kim,
the one that does
Chloe,
the lipstick line.
Chloe,
I think. Chloe. Whichever Kardashian it is.
There's another one. I think that's the one.
She started her own.
Kylie.
Yeah, Kylie. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a difference.
She might have had help starting out, but she still took that company into $1 billion company by her own branding and advertising and whatnot. But she had some help, so it could have been easier for her.
And it can go the other way too.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
there can be people like that end up doing nothing. They might just be like, I got an inheritance. I can.
More often than not, that's the way it works.
Yeah,
trust seems
right. So
it's
obviously there's an advantage at certain places and there's disadvantage, but you have to take life by the horns, figure it out. I mean, it's the best you can do, and you can. And life by the horns doesn't mean I want to go do my own thing. I want to go. That just means whatever you want to do, whether that's a comfortable thing, whether that's stepping out of your comfort zone, whether that's working the same job for 40 years and you love it, whether that's working for no one ever except yourself and you love it. You do what you want to do. You can make it happen. I mean, it's not just.
It's funny when you start your business. You start your business in the idea of I'm gonna be able to do whatever I want, but it don't work like that.
Oh no,
you don't get to
it sounds nice saying I can work whenever I want.
If you want to, but you won't be. You won't be successful.
You won't have any jobs.
You won't. Yeah. But it's so funny coming around the idea. It's like, I can't wait to be able to do whatever I want and go wherever I want, whenever I want, do what I want. It's like.
But then you realize, well, if I want money and I want my clients, but I think the clarification there would be, like, I can go tour with Adam. I can instead of being like, well, no, I got to take 4 weeks of vacation, do all that. It's like I can just go do it, and I can make some money doing it too. Versus like, well, I've got just this or I've got just that. Now you can go and do that. You can go do whatever you want, or you know, and it's a mix, you know, you're going to have your jobs you need to do. Like, for example, August through pretty much May, I know I'm doing school stuff, you know, and then I still get my summer, but then we have weddings and I book as many weddings as I can. So we're still busy. But if I didn't want to do that, I could go and, you know, do this down on the coast or start a little media thing down in Florida, you know, so it gives you as much freedom as you want versus, hey, I'm going to take, you know, 3 weeks off, and they're like, well, you only have 1 week of vacation. You know, you're almost limited to that setting, and some people don't care, you know, but I've always just been very, I don't want to, I don't even want to, like, it's weird thinking that, I would know where my money, like where my pay, like how much I'm getting paid and when it's coming. Like, that'd be great. Yeah. But it's weird because I don't know what that's like. Right. I know I have what I can go make, you know, I know I have, well, they've got games this week, so I know I'm going to make this, but now next year, I want to add some teams, or, you know, it's as much as I am willing to put in, and sometimes to a fault, I will not put in enough work wise.
Tired, man.
Yeah.
You can't do it all.
You can't do it all.
Oh. But what's important is that you know that, and that you know what it takes to be able to still build, and it takes, no, you can't do everything. You can't grow. You can only grow so far doing it by yourself.
Don't stretch yourself.
And then it's, all right, so I'm going to have to do payroll now. I'm going to have to pay somebody, you know, a salary, right, $15, $20 an hour, whatever it's worth, you know, and then train somebody and pretty much do it all over again. Yeah. And I find these really good guys that are going to be, you know, career guys. Yeah. It's like, do you want to live around here your whole life?
Yeah, I would say no. Right? Nice area.
What do you want me to say?
Would you like to run? Would you like to run a jet ski rental in Miami and make $2,000 a week?
I'm not real big on jet skis, but I mean, for the money,
that'd be cool, right?
You don't have to ride them. You can just give them to people.
Make your connections. Yeah. I have a friend that lives. I have a couple connections in Miami now, and I have a buddy that I met on Xbox 5 years ago that I met when I was down there, and he turned out to be a really great guy, and he's a firefighter, and that's something he can help me with too while I'm down there. So that's something that pretty much is something that'll be able to run itself to where I don't even have to be there. I can just collect the profit. I have the money. So what, $250,000 to start up, and then collect $4,000 or $5,000 a week profit from it in the hot point.
Yeah, that'd be and that's something too. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, being able to go and take your investment, and that'd be nice. I haven't thought that far ahead of like I'm always thinking what's next, but it's always what's next for me versus what can I start that can be sustained by itself? Yeah. You know, that would be nice. That would be ideal. But definitely, I'm thinking within the next year or so, there's going to be employees here. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
We're just
especially if you end up doing the social media marketing and advertising like what I would want to do. That's something I could really do and pursue great in because I know I'll succeed from it. But it's not really something I want to go in on by myself. I'd like to go in with somebody else, you know, that's going to be able to do as good of a job as what I can. And then after so long, you know, only so many people can keep up with so many accounts. To say one person, 10 accounts a week.
Well, and that's the nice thing about
then you have monthly. 40 accounts, and you have employees, and then they can do other things for you too. You know, it's just
that's nice, and that's kind of we were almost to that point. Like we do highlights too, and that was kind of our main thing before the live stuff. Now the live stuff's our main thing. So it was never quite to the point where I was like, okay, we're making X. It was just kind of, I know we can make X, but until then, you know, and so, employee wise, it's just getting to that step where if you do end up doing a social media thing and it's $600 600 a month or something like that, you can see, okay, we're making this much every month. I can pay you this much. So that's when it starts to make sense.
That's where the anxiety comes in from, because it don't work like that off the front. If you want to be able to, you have to have some sort of capital to be able to pay these guys, because you want to train them and whatnot. So that way, because you're not going to be able to keep.
Well, and they're not going to start making you money until you've hired them,
or have go in on it with another,
an investor,
owner, or somebody like that that's going to care about it as much as you will. That'll succeed, and then that'll just be, an income. Say you have 100 accounts at $600 a month. How much money is that?
600,000.
60 grand.
60.
60.
That's my
And
math's a
then,
little.
but that's not, by the time you pay your employees and whatnot,
Right.
you have say 20 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's an extra 10 grand a month profit split between you and I.
Right.
And then we use that to buy rental houses, which
Then you
they'll
use
end up
that-
paying
yeah.
out, $1,000 a month. And
Then
then
I'll take the commission from the sale of the houses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we got a little.
flip them.
There's a lot to do. And
I buy them. Our employees will work on them and
Right.
do the inside work.
Yeah,
and
you
better
literally-
them up, and then we'll flip
I
them.
can take
and then you
pictures of
make
them.
your-
Uh-oh.
That's
Dangerous.
how it evolves.
The wheels are turning.
It's really incredible what you can do.
Yeah. No, and it's incredible how much passive income you can make. You just got to get through that initial wall. And
Goal
then-
is to make money while you sleep. That's the
Yes.
And that's what I hope the live stuff's around for a while, because what's exciting about it is the part of it I do outside, and I can find someone else other than me to go film them. For example, tonight there's people filming them, but I could go and I could live in Arizona, or whatever, and I can I can still do all my scheduling. It's all online, like I don't have to be here to do scheduling for games, and that's really all I do at this point. And
Yeah.
if you think about it, in a normal year, you're not going to have reschedules all the time and have it.
No.
You're just going to say, okay, here's the dates, here's your work dates, just be there. And
They pay you. You set out a yearly rate for these guys.
no, so this year we did per game, but it was like a season, so they would do a seasonal thing.
So I know. Well, and then this might benefit you. I say everything
Yeah.
you do is great, and I'm sure that the way you're doing it now is great. There's snow removal companies that do snow removal. We don't do snow removal, but say like Walmart will pay a company 25 grand
Really?
a year.
Okay.
And then you just keep up with it all year. It might not snow at all. You get free 25 grand, or it snowed 10 times, and then you
Yeah.
barely make
Yeah. Or you're there
even
out
off
every
of
day.
it. And then say you go to the school and say, hey, it's going to be 15 grand a year. And then if you cancel,
Right.
you still have to pay. You just pay a yearly rate.
And I had thought about that real early. I'm still learning that, but at one point I had the idea was to bundle everything. So, we take school photos, we video, we live stream. I'm like, we don't have to make all for example, Storied Rivals would have to make all their money on highlights because they do highlights. Now they're doing lives, but everyone's doing lives. But the idea was, well, if we're taking your photos too, we don't have to. We're still going to charge you for your photos, but we don't have to make as much at photo or as much at video as we would if it was just that. Even if you think about it from the live side, we can have two angles at your game while someone's recording with one camera. We can still feed that live. So
Right.
we saved.
I thought that was pretty damn cool.
Yeah. So we save a
your
person.
live videos and it's coming in live. I'm like, technology. Man.
Oh, it's wild.
It's awesome.
I was looking, I was like, I wonder when when was our first sports live stream? And I was looking, we did the boys tournament game at Meadowbrook maybe 3 years ago. So it's always been in my head, because the radio would always go and call games, and they started doing a few live ones, but they would only do big ones. And I know the one I did was a tournament game, but I was like, there's a market here. Grandparents are out of town. They live in Virginia, or there's a market here, and you can kind of see the natural progression of it, especially as technology gets better. It starts with the NFL or whatever, their games are broadcast. It looks really high quality. It's all right. And even before then, it was just all the games on TV. That's crazy. Now it's a high quality thing. They've got tons of everything, and it's all perfect and everything. And now that's trickled down into college, and it's getting to that point where there's so many people on Earth, you can't do it all. Yeah. And so
you try to though.
Yeah, you can try. Yeah, you can try. And I do it all as in the company. If you're doing NFL games, you're gonna have a real hard time getting to high school. But that natural progression of now I can use a camera. It's not a giant thing I have to connect and put all these pieces on. It's just here, it just works. Oh, well, now they invented this thing that you just plug into the side of a computer that turns that video feed. Yeah. And so it made the ease of access into the industry was like
now
amazing.
It's all pretty much wireless.
It's pretty easy.
10 years,
all you got to do is just like a puzzle. You just connect the pieces and, from our perspective, it's easy, but it became such and you think about it, a college kid could start live streaming sports, versus, you didn't have to have a broadcast company and run a line to the TV. It's like, it goes into Facebook. People watch on Facebook. And so that was just like the natural progression. On a
network like CBS or something, you can say that what you want to say on it. Like you'd say, oh, he got the he got the hell knocked out of him on that play, without repercussion, or you can. You're allowed to be more creative.
Marshawn Lynch should start.
I seen that. That's exactly what I was thinking. That Marshawn Lynch video, doing like a high school game or something. That's gold, man.
That's what I'm like. At every level, I feel like, especially with each generation that's new, you're like, well, that'd be crazy if they did that. And I feel like that was like the people that started college football stream. They're like, who would do high school? What's next? For us, it's like middle school. You think about that, you're like, who would ever film a middle school game? Yeah. It's probably coming.
Great. It's great for coaching.
That's what sets you away from your competition, is that you are able to have everything wrapped around the idea and then sell this idea. Like what we do, we're selling a lot of the stuff that we do, you don't see a whole lot. So we're selling this art to you. But you're selling a package to a school, it could be something new that they're not used to. That's what sells things. Is like a Tesla, Amazon, when they first started out, people laughed at them, right?
Oh yeah.
It's like, well, ain't nobody gonna buy your product. And look at them now. It's like they're selling something new or something, ease of access to make something easier for you. I was thinking of one there a minute ago and I forgot what it was, but they created something to make something easier for you, so that's the reason why you buy that.
Netflix started out just like Blockbuster, where they didn't have a store, but they would mail you DVDs. I remember when I was first freshman year of college, they would mail DVDs. Really? You'd watch it and you send it back, and send you the next one. It started out, that's exactly what Blockbuster did. But Netflix came out with the streaming to where you no longer had to
It's almost like a first mover kind of thing.
Yeah, they was the first ones to come out with a platform where you could you pay a certain amount and you could watch whatever's on there. Yeah. And it kind of revolutionized, and that's what eventually put Blockbuster out of business, was the ease of not having to wait for a DVD to be sent 3 days in the mail to get to you.
That's what it was too. It was Netflix. So probably 3 or 4 years ago, a girl I dated at the time, I had come up with the idea. I spoke with her about it, and it was the idea of being able to watch the same show, say it's Netflix show or whatever it is, with them from their house and your house. So it's like being together and watching. So you're watching the show at the same time. That they see at the same time as you, and you talk to them through like headphones or through the TV or whatever. Exactly. Yeah. They now started that. Yeah. Now after COVID, this was
smart.
4 years later, and she was like, I'd never be anything. So I was like, yeah, you're probably right.
Yep. No, that's what Hulu does now. And I remember even on like Xbox 360, I think there was like a Netflix thing. You could put all your avatars into like a theater and like watch Netflix or something. It was one of the brands. I think it was Netflix, and you could like say like, oh, my avatar, we're gonna watch what, and you'd walk in like with green.
There's another one that was gaming.
Gamefly.
It was
Gamefly.
I know Gamefly mailed games like that.
It was avatars like around an arena. It was 1 vs 100.
Oh,
where it was.
Sit back a little bit. I'm not getting you on the mic.
It was 1 vs 100. It was
what Kinect was, the old Kinect game.
This was Xbox.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It was a.
There was a lot of games that used the Xbox.
It wasn't a game.
Too.
It was the first. Damn it! This is so nostalgic that we brought this up. It was 1 vs 100, and you could get in a party with like 4 people or 8 people, however many, and then you go into this arena 1 vs 100, and it was your avatars in there, and it was trivia. And if you were the last one standing, then you won stuff. It could be Microsoft or anything like that. So we would spend. This was at the time that Call of Duty 4, for the original COD 4 first came out. I was probably 15. That's why it's so nostalgic to me, which to somebody who has no idea what I'm
why I
talking
don't know
about.
it.
But somebody who has no idea what I'm talking about has, doesn't
Get an
care.
Xbox till college.
They wouldn't know. But we would spend it would be like it'd be once every Friday, or it was like once every Friday from like 10 to midnight or 10 to 1 a.m. or whatever, and we'd all take a break from playing Call of Duty 4 and then get on that, and that was. You would have been 12 at the time.
I was probably on. I remember 8th grade year. That was like the peak of like Xbox Live for me. And see that what came.
That was the peak of Xbox Live, period.
Literally,
because I was. I mean,
that's like Halo 3
at that time, maybe Halo 3.
That stuff, that generation.
4.
There's Halo 3 behind us.
That was my favorite game. Favorite, the best Halo ever. One of my favorite games. And then my Xbox I have now is the Master Chief Collection Xbox.
Yeah, I just feel like anymore, and it's probably just because we're old, but I feel like anymore it's just games are so like they fade so quickly.
Yeah, you get sick of them
like
really quick.
it's almost it's kind of like TikTok. I made one, but I don't do anything with it because I don't see any value in. Like people are like, I got 100,000. I don't see any value in it. They're just like, okay, great, but I know I was looking at some people, like just that I know around different areas and stuff, and they have 200,000, 100,000 TikTok followers, and then you go look, and their last 10 to 12 TikToks have 300 views. You're like. That's not a following. No. It's just strange. And then there's some that have 10,000 and they'll get millions of views on. I mean, it's a digitally point-driven system, not an engagement-driven system. Right. So
it's an era thing. Though.
It is. It definitely is.
Who's your favorite rapper? Who's your favorite rapper of all time?
All time.
Say mine's Lil Wayne.
Like Eminem.
Mine's Lil Wayne.
Eminem. Probably Eminem.
So you got Eminem, Lil Wayne, somewhere in that area.
Tech Nine.
Ask the kids now; they're gonna tell you like Lil Durk or Lil Baby or someone like that. That's their. I
don't know, Juice WRLD.
Juice WRLD, but that's gonna be a big one.
Yeah,
that's probably gonna be the biggest one for kids
the kids
nowadays.
That were in high school
I could
now.
tell you,
Mac Miller,
Juice
those
WRLD.
guys.
So his music
is good.
Really good.
It's
really good.
It is really good.
Changed a lot of my perspective on a lot of different things. I remember being in a dark place, and first hearing Juice WRLD brought me out of that dark place. And I was in a very dark place there for a month or so, and which I wasn't doing any drugs or alcohol or anything like that. But, I just went through a breakup, was going through depression, different things. Like, what's my purpose? Trying to find yourself, because I never really got to truly find myself or who I am or what my purpose is. And that's when I started to meditate. And that's what I found. Started listening to Juice WRLD and that album, and I was like, holy shit.
It's crazy. I mean, after his death, some of those songs you're like, man, like.
It's sad to see that now that he died and you look back at it, that a lot of those songs are cries for help. Yeah. That people didn't, they ever looked and nobody really helped them.
This is the life, and they're like, oh, that's good. Like, it's a good song. Like, that's deep. And then you're like, oh, wait, it's true.
Now you have context to the song, the lyrics.
No, that's all crazy. Same thing with, Mac Miller. I mean, he was pretty similar. Even, the XXX guy, Tentacion.
Tentacion.
I mean, TOD, and it's not good, but he was very involved with. He had some sad songs. You can tell he's struggling.
Oh, what's that song with him on one of the Lil Wayne's?
Don't Cry.
Don't Cry.
Yeah.
You hear the soul and the pain. In
that was one of I love that album when it came out.
That's the only song I ever knew of at that church.
People are so judgmental, but you put them in that seat and live that life and fly to a different city every other day and then go do a 4-hour concert.
It's a lonely life.
Dude, there's no way. There's no way. It would be so hard
MGK.
Yes.
Have you listened to his new stuff?
I haven't.
Not since Rap.
You're going to have to listen to... so he went punk rock on it.
Oh, yeah, I did.
I
wore that one with
it's
or whatever.
So he put out a album video.
Oh, he's a brilliant musician.
Yeah, and so instead of like a music video, he made a musical based around his new album.
No shit.
And it's like good. Like it's 40, 50 minutes long, and it's like you're involved. And and at the end, I'm not gonna ruin it for you, but basically it's like a monologue of him after the story. He's like, everyone thinks there's gonna be this happy ending, He's like, sometimes there's not.
Yeah.
You know, and,
That's cool. I like how they're doing that now. Have you listened to Kid Cudi's new album?
oh, not as I bet I probably heard a song or two, but I haven't really
I haven't
paid attention to it.
It's really good.
But yeah, no, I know MGK. He's, you know, people are like, oh, he left rap for rock, and I'm like, he's good at it. You know, this is his genre. He's
Dude is just
revived.
musically brilliant. Like he can play multiple instruments. He's very gifted when it comes to music.
Well, what's that one song? So he was like gonna kill himself. Like he was like ready, and he wrote a note to his daughter, like, "Don't worry about me. It'll be okay." I think. Oh, I forget what the song's called, but
Are you talking about MGK?
yes, yeah. And so he ended up not doing it. Obviously, he's still around, but he was gonna kill himself. And I was like, listening to one of these songs, like, this is like a really good song. And then I scrolled down in like the comments, and it was like, this has much more meaning when you realize this is the note he wrote to his daughter on the night he was going to kill himself. And it's wild.
I like to read lyrics when I listen to new music, because I like to put it. It helps you understand it when you read it.
Yeah, but then he didn't, and he's like, that was the greatest. Like, I'm glad, you know. But it was just a crazy song. You're like, man, like, he's raw. He's very like emotionally raw. Like, he's not gonna like just stunt for.
I can listen to a couple MGK songs that are on my iTunes, but I more or less only listen to them when I'm like in Cleveland. If I'm in Cleveland, I'll play them on. Or like Bone Thugs. If I'm in Cleveland, I'll put on Bone Thugs.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I liked it. See, a lot of people didn't like his rap. I liked his rap. I don't know. I didn't hate it, but
he's 1999.
But no, I enjoyed his rap, and then, you know, the Eminem thing, that it hurt, but it helped. I mean, he's huge now. That helped. I think the beef with Eminem is actually the only reason I had even heard of MGK.
Well, yeah, a lot of people realize how clever he was lyrically through that. You know, the Rap Devil. When you listen to the lyrics, that's like,
what they say.
Clever.
There's no such thing as bad publicity.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and everyone's like, "Oh, Eminem destroyed him." Like, yeah, but now he's got like the biggest album of the year, and he's like, he went punk, and he's brought back a genre that was basically gone. For a while. Yeah. You know, it's wild. I mean, that guy's doing some stuff. With that industry. I don't know. And he's with Interscope, I think. I don't know too much about the record stuff.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't get involved with it.
I don't either. I love music. I'm very inspired by music. I have a huge different taste in music. You know, rap,
I'm everywhere.
Rock, classic rock, death metal. You know, it doesn't matter what it is. You know, 90s alternative. It just depends on what mood I'm in that day.
Yeah.
Bluegrass, dude. I get down to some bluegrass. You know, I might.
No, I have YouTube Music, and so I'm sure it's the same thing with everything. But you know, the algorithm basically says, here's your playlist for the day.
This what things you might like.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's from country to, you know, Montana blues to then Eminem's on next. And I think a lot of people like to think, or not think even, a lot of people like to say they are one genre or this, but I feel like everyone just kind of all over, like, you know, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but, or you too, but I feel like a lot of people listen to a lot of music, or if they don't, they're not giving themselves a chance, or they're not giving that genre a chance.
Right.
They're great, you know, if you don't like a genre, understandable, but there's people that are like, just rap, and they're like, oh, country, no. They'll never listen to it.
Well, so people that listen to a certain genre, you'll see oftentimes are very small-minded people, and it gets back to this small-minded people to where they're not very open, and that's, you know, that's their closed-mindedness. You know, there's
or
nothing
it's just
you can
a preference. Do. A lot of people dislike country music because a lot of it's sad. A lot of it's got a lot of
it's not
to
that.
It. And a lot of times that's not what people want to listen to when they're trying to go to a party or something like that. It's a lot of times it's your surroundings, your environment that you're in that determines.
It's almost
what you listen
the emotion,
to. Emotion,
the mood you're in.
Exactly.
I listen to the good. There's good in everything. I could listen. I could listen to Mozart and love it, and then understand it, and you kind of feel what he was feeling at that time. But I think I'm spiritually a much different person than most people, because I feel things on a different level than a lot of people, and I can relate to things on a different level than most people, and I know I'm different than a lot of people, but I can see I'm attracted to, my soul attracts to other souls, you know? I just have a different,
I think you'll see.
I don't know how to explain it. I just feel it, you know?
I feel like a lot of like with me, I notice, and it's not very often around here. You know, it's a lot of times when I'm in a city or something, you'll find like you'll connect with people that are driven too, and they might not even tell you that. They might not even say like, I'm gonna go get her. I'm gonna like,
just
here's
expression.
You just can tell how that person is, and it could be some weird subconscious thing, or it could be a spiritual thing where it's like I feel
believe
it.
it's a spiritual thing.
Right. And that's like what's crazy about it is you have so many different, there's so many different emotions in the world. There's so many different types of people, but you can attract the ones that you want to attract. You can tell who they are. You can be like, wow, like
the girlfriend I have now, the girl I've been dating for the last couple of months, I've never connected to anybody else like I had connected with her. Like we connect on such a different level.
Yeah.
And she's helped me understand things, and I've helped her understand things, and we kind of, it's I can't really explain it as much as what I can.
Sometimes the unexplained is
try to ramble what it feels like, but there's really no way to understand it. You can't understand it to people that don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah. No, that's yeah.
You have either experienced it and felt that connection with somebody else, and it doesn't even have to be per se a girlfriend. It could be a friend. It could
be a person.
It could be just a person or an animal or anything.
Yeah,
really.
why not?
Yeah,
no, I think, I don't know. I know there's people that are like, this is the one, like this, and I think it is like a connection they feel where they're like, this is my person, and then that comes back to the relationship side of it. But yeah, I think people are very connected and in ways that we don't understand yet, or may never.
Right.
Maybe it's better that we don't.
Yeah.
Because I feel like once you get to that next step of society or what, of whatever it is, well, then that's going to get monetized. Do we want that monetized? Probably. It's the same thing with like, almost our emotions are almost monetized just based off social media. Like
you see a lot of people's are. They really truly are.
I mean, it seriously is. And even like Facebook did an experiment, and they I think they got in trouble for it. They would show, this was like in 2011 or something. They would show sad or like mad news feeds to people, and then they would show happy ones to people.
Well, it's dependent on, an algorithm it feeds you what you show that you are interacting with the most. So if you're online posting like anti-hunting or whatever, that's what it's going to feed you, things to support your algorithm.
In 2011.
That's like Ari Shafiri, he's a comedian, friend of Joe Rogan's. He did a test with YouTube where that's all he did was type in search bar videos for puppies. And all of a sudden, his Facebook advertisements,
it's all
YouTube videos that were recommended to him were all puppy related.
Well, and
it feeds off of what you put into it.
Right. And I don't think a lot of people. So there is definitely some sort of they're probably listening, or whatever, sometimes. But for the most part, I think a lot of people come from a side of, I've built websites, and I've added like the Facebook pixel to my website. A lot of people are like, well, I visited this site and they must have been listening, because now I'm seeing. It's like most of the time it's just a website has a built-in ads manager with Facebook or with Google, because it's easier and it helps your target customers. I mean, they know everything about you.
Yeah.
But I mean, to some extent, there's going to be like some, it's listening a little bit. Are they listening because they care? Probably not.
They're not necessarily listening. They're just finding trends and patterns, and they're matching to a pattern.
Right. A lot of us is like the placebo effect, and it's coincidence too, because you're thinking about it. So ultimately, you're subliminally not realizing it. That's what you're looking for. That's gonna be the first thing that pops out at you.
It's
like
when
you see a red car.
Yeah.
But I know there have been times where I've been talking to Johnny or talking to somebody, and then later that night scrolling through Facebook and having an advertisement pop up about what we was talking about. It was like a boat or something, a stupid cruise or something. It popped up.
But now, like, if you mention like, oh, you're going to see a bunch of red Jeeps.
You buy a red
now,
Jeep,
the next day, you're going to see all kinds of red Jeeps. Yeah, but you're not going to notice the orange Chevy that went. Orange is a very weird color, but
you might
now you will. But in the sense of like just another basic thing, like a black, Malibu. Now you're going to notice it, but you were not going to notice that until you just kind of shrugged it off until now. Oh, hey, I was just talking about that.
What's your dream car?
My dream car, it's my wallpaper in there. It's a 67 Mustang Boss.
Nice.
429.
I think 60 is 69. That's the most sought after year.
It might be a
69 or 60. Yeah, I think it's the most sought after years.
But no, I don't know. I like all kinds of cars, obviously, but like that's like one that I've liked for a long time. Like I want to own like an old Mustang.
If I ever got a Mustang, I'd like it to be the old style, like pre 70s.
Yeah. How about you?
Plymouth Superbird.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know where I even like saw my first old Mustang. I mean, it might have been like a video or something. I
used to watch them Barrett Jackson car auctions with my dad all the time back. ESPN Classic.
McLaren's, the PE1.
First Plymouth Superbird I think I ever seen was on Joe Dirt.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
He knocks the wing off on the
footprint gas pedal.
Yeah. He knocks the wing off on the guard arm coming down. He all shatters it.
Deer tay. We'll try to church in the dirt.
Yeah. That's the yellow one with the Superbird.
Yeah.
I
thought you had a hammy. Yeah. He pulls up in front of old girl's house. He said, "Yeah, I had to steal this trash."
In Miami, you can rent Lamborghinis and Ferraris and stuff for like $700 a day.
Really? I know Turo.
Jesus.
Yeah, but you drive $700 drive around a
for
Lamborghini.
once. Yeah, right. I know Turo is like a car rental thing, and I know you can get like some pretty sweet cars for like $200.
Oh, dude, me and Jonesy, we rented a Slingshot down there for the day, and they didn't even check driver's license or nothing like that. This dude was just like, he pulled up in that Slingshot. And he was like, "Here you go, dude." He's like, "You got the money?" I was like, "Yep." Here's like $250 or something like that for the day. And he gave me his card and whatnot. He's like, "When you come back," I said, "Man, I'm a holler at you." He said,
"I'll be at the beach."
Every time I come down here, I'm a holler at you. He's like, "I got like 10 of these things, man. I don't give a damn." And he owns it.
That's so cool.
I was like, dude, I can't wait to do that. Because I'm going to do that with jet skis. That's you know, it's like, those people they make so much money and they have so many different businesses. It's just a common trend for them.
Passive income, name of the game. As much as you can get out of your own plate.
You rent out 10 of those, in a day, you make $2,500 a day if you rent them at $250.
Right.
Yeah.
And say you pay the dude great, pay him $500 for the whole day to take care of it. Yeah. And then the only thing you have after that is maintenance and whatnot. Yeah. And then say you do that. Just say even say you do it 5 days a week. Say you do that 5 days a week. That's $10,000 a week, and then $40,000 a month, and that's within a year you make $400,000 or $500,000 doing it, and your maintenance and everything else, you might make $150,000, $100,000
for a few jet skis. It's pretty solid.
$100,000 a year, and not have to really do much with it. That'd be cool.
No, I want to. I'm excited to go to Florida because I don't know what is like. I've never been. I mean, I've been to like Disney World or Land or whatever it is down there, but to go and have a car, like I'm going to drive down.
Where are you going?
So we're going to the coast basically. So we're going to be in Alabama, Seacrest.
So you're just going to go
hang out the Gulf Shores, and then Destin is another one, and then Panama City, I think, is the farthest we're going.
Were you going to take all that? So you're going to take your podcast with you everywhere?
Not everywhere, but I'm going to take it down. So it'll be.
I'd rather meet you in Destin than Gulf Shores.
We might be Destin. I'll keep you updated. I don't know which one we're going to be at, but I think we're going to be in Panama City a while.
I know that Adams Tour starts at Gulf Shores, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to just basically bring this minus the desk. I'm probably just do some lawn chairs, and
dude, you want lawn chairs?
Be cooler.
You have the patio
toes in the water
on the beach, dude. You sat right up on the beach.
That's true. Yeah, no, I think it'd be
bring
sweet.
a desk with you. I'll sit on the beach with a suit and tie on a regular computer chair.
No,
it's funny because it's real. And it's so real. What the things that we are doing.
I know. It's crazy.
All together that people always, your haters look at you and they're like,
you don't like. It sounds like it's just another thing I'm going to do.
True.
But it's like, wow. Like if you think about it, you're like, I'm going to do a podcast on a beach.
That's my life.
Like that's awesome. Yeah. Like
people are like, oh man, you're great. Doing all kinds of stuff. I might be in Putnam Bay one week, and I'll be in LA the next, and then Miami the next. It's like you're doing it. You're doing it. That's what you grow accustomed to.
I think that's. So I know a lot of rappers still. To circle back there, I think a lot of them talk a lot in their songs about like, here's what I want to do, and then once they get to that point in their career, they're like, wow, like I do that. Yeah. And it almost becomes second nature.
It is.
Yeah.
It ain't nothing to them.
Yeah. But to someone else, that's like one time would be like amazing. Yeah. It's like, you just got to work for it.
Cambridge will forever be my home.
Right.
Regardless, but I'm going to be all over the place. My grandpa had a steel company and a paper company and did different stuff, and then ended up retiring in Cambridge, and then it's kind of
that's the goal. I'd love to, like I said, I'd love to just make this a little bit more online, and then I can be in a little bit of a warmer area this part of the year, and then at the same time though, we've got so much, like I'd still be here very often, it's a thing, but but I would love to,
you'd be here 80% of the time.
Yeah, but that 20% is a lot of time to be away versus one vacation a year or whatever.
You're here for 3 weeks and there for a week and a half. That's my plan.
That's a good idea.
Be here for 3 weeks and be in Miami for a week. Be here for 4 weeks, go to Miami for a week.
Yeah, and then that's like people are like, well, plane ticket costs. It's like it's worth my time.
Yeah, buddy, you know how much money I'm making on jet ski rentals? That plane ticket ain't shit. I'll fly back and forth.
Yeah,
I don't give a damn.
Oh, there's just, I think we've got some good ideas. We'll work some of these out.
Yeah.
We'll roll with them. But, you got anything else you want to say? I think that we're definitely.
I'm sure we'll pick up again.
Miami.
We'll be picking up again.
We'll be picking up in Miami. This is definitely a long one. I think this might be record.
We're over 3.
That's it.
Time is it?
Yeah, we're definitely record.
Past 9.
Yeah, it's 3 hours.
Yeah, I'll milk it for 2
episodes. I could go for.
Oh, I could.
When you're just
let me go take a pee. Let me go take a pee real quick, and I'll come back, and we'll go back again, do another 5 hours. So next time we'll go for 2 or 3 hours. I think we'll do multiple times.
We better save some content for Miami. Actually, we'll probably have the content made in Miami, right? But
there'll be plenty to talk about. Miami, I'm sure.
But I think this is good for and especially for someone that. So the first few that were like 2.5 hours or so, those are people I like knew.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the other ones that are an hour and a half, you can talk, but you don't know them. This was good because we haven't hung out that much together. Met each other once or twice here and there, but
I've seen you once at the gym.
Yeah, right.
Like Jason Graham, and I know like those guys. I know your family, but I don't know you at all. I don't know anything about you. You're a little younger than I am, but like Jason, I'm starting to know pretty well, and Hunter Shoemaking, those guys.
Oh yeah,
like I knew Hunter for a very long time growing up. And then now we do work business together, and me and Jason, we do business together, and it's like, it's what it's all about.
That's about the connections, definitely with the business community. It's about.
But I look forward to growing and then getting to know you more, and then me helping your business and you helping my business, and then us helping each other brand, and then build I can't tell you that a lot of seems like most of my friendships now are friendships through business. Right. At some point, like I still have my good friends like Jordan and my buddy, my friends that I have that are very strong and great friends, and then like Caleb, who's a really good friend of mine before he started working at this company, and then now that we're going to be able to grow a business friendship. And what's great about Caleb is that we have that door to where we have the business relationship, and then we have the friend relationship. And we know the difference in how to shut that off and how to turn that on. Good. Which I really haven't been able to do that with anybody else.
Right. That's cool. Yeah. I don't think I've had to make that step yet. So that's definitely something to think about.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Be careful hiring your friends, because you can ruin friendships real easily.
That's what they say. Is it always risky going into business with your friends?
50-50.
Right, yeah. And then that...
it's all about the person, too,
Oh, it's personality and how you are and all that. But I think for one episode, I think we did pretty good. Yep. I'm going to piece us out of here. If you're still listening, if you're asleep, wake up. If you're not,
I guarantee you, my girlfriend will listen to every single second of this, because she's gonna be on. She's gonna be like, "What?
What do you say?" Yeah. No, I see.
Yeah, she'll be waiting.
I listen to a lot of podcasts at night, like when I'm falling asleep. So
I listen to.
I'll like wake up in the middle of the night, and be like, "Oh, who's on?" Yeah.
I'll wake up in the morning and just start playing.
Yeah. So this was Thank you guys for coming. Seriously,
thank you for having us. Pleasure.
Yeah, that was fun. I mean, it felt like maybe 1 hour. Just how quick it goes. We'll be seeing. It'll be soon. I mean, that's April, so we'll be seeing you guys. You guys might be the first repeat guest. You and Adam.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
to kill that at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, don't forget to buy your supplements.
Yeah. What is that? Bucked up. Yeah.
Forget the plug.
Caleb Graham.
Yeah, we'll put that plug in there. We got everything you need. We got pre-workout and creatine and anything else you can think of. If it's online, I can get it for you cheaper. Let me know. I'm going to turn into Joe Rogan. I'll sell supplements on the side and
Buddy, it's all
make
about
podcasts by day.
Make money here, make money.
Get you that advertising.
It's the passive income. But yeah, thank you guys again for coming. We'll see you guys in April. This is February 20. Or no, this is February 1 or something. The Tuesday, whatever this next Tuesday is.
Valentine's this week.
Yeah. So, I'm excited. That was fun. Really didn't slow down ever. That was a pretty solid cast.
I can go for a very long time. I got a lot of ideas. My mind's always running. I'll come up with something new tonight, and then
save it, write it down.
Write it down.
Definitely, that's something I like to do.
That's what I was.
This one I didn't write anything down for because I knew I kind of knew how you were going to be. I knew you were pretty open.
I'm
just from the one time you walked in here.
I make people feel so uncomfortable about how open I am because I'll come up and ask people like, "How are you doing? What are your life goals? How's your relationship?" Like things that normal people don't ask people, but I truly genuinely care about you. I truly genuinely care about people and how they feel and make sure that they feel like that you have to evolve in life, make sure that they're doing okay. But me being very open to, I'm very honest about my life and my past experiences. And I do that because maybe it could help you not go down the same path or make the right decision in this point. So I've never had a problem with being open. I'm honest with everybody about everything I do. And if you don't like it, fuck you.
Oh yeah, no, that's easy enough, right?
Bleep guy.
It's at the 3-hour mark. I don't
care at all. For the people that I feel make uncomfortable and that they don't like me about it,
it's off the rails after.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
I really don't care.
This is on the OnlyFans. For me, for you guys, and you guys watching or listening. Hopefully you're watching because I like the YouTube side of it. But thank you for listening. Thank you for coming.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks for having us. That was fun. And we'll see you guys in April.
Look forward to it.
Now get out of here, everybody, please.